Hello, friends and enemies, heroes and villains. Welcome to Epic Realms Presents Off the Pod. It's not a podcast, sort of a podcast, but not really a podcast. I am joined by the one and only DillyTheDoe. He streams right here on Twitch. He also has a great YouTube channel. He's on all the social medias. And I've known Dilly pretty much since day one of me streaming on Twitch. So welcome, Dilly, to the show.
How's it going? Oh,
Going
man,
good.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, Death Joker just redeemed a alert hello. So welcome. I didn't hear it for some reason. That's really weird. So we'll have to.
I caught it. I caught just the tail end of it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Hello. Oh God. And Lady the Face contributed to the scary stream. So Dilly, I'm doing a scary stream challenge in my channel point thing, and they're gonna make me stream late night mop. And it's like Phasmophobia, but worse. And you have to play by yourself, and you're like cleaning up a haunted house that's like this mass murder happened or something, and it's supposed to be like jump scares and a half.
Well, I made sure to contribute to that as well.
No, you're not supposed to be helping them.
Yeah, a little bit. That sounds terrible.
Yeah,
and I will enjoy watching.
I've got a heart rate monitor and everything for those. It's horrible.
Oh, that's amazing. What heart rate monitor do you use? Do you use like an actual heart rate monitor?
Yeah, I have an actual. Where is it here? It's here somewhere. Where is it? I got it. There it is. But I'll wait. I have it here, and I'll show you. But I'm gonna wait. Until we start our first topic. Like I didn't even think about it until just now. I was like, wait a second. We're not gonna waste this good content.
Sneaky segue,
right?
Oh man!
Thank you for everybody who has joined us. Dilly, Hurricane says hello to you, Dilly. Zine, Rockheim, Death Joker's in here. Lady the Fae, Curly Girl. Thank you so much for popping in. We've got a lot of fun topics today. We're going to start off with streaming tech. We're going to talk a little bit about cosplay and conventions. I know we've talked about cosplay a little bit in the past, but that's for somebody completely different, and Dilly's got a whole different perspective. And just like talking about video games, we've done it 3 or 4 times now, and you can never stop talking. You can never have an old conversation about playing video games because it's always changing, and everybody has different tastes and what they like. So, and of course, we're going to have potluck at the end. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited. Dilly and I haven't really sat down to chat with each other in probably 3 months. I think it was like 3 months. You were hanging out in your Discord, and I just was like, "Oh, Dilly's in here," and I just popped on, and you weren't there, and I was like, "Oh, he must be AFK." So I waited a while, and then I left. You're like, "No, I'm here.
It was headphone issues. It was
and then I came back and it's like, "Oh, okay. I just wanted to come say hi."
Oh man, I appreciate it.
I think you had canceled your Monday night stream, and this was like after a podcast after I had edited it.
Oh yeah.
And what most people don't know is like when I get done with the podcast and I get done editing it, like I need to brain out. I need to talk to someone or something that's in the streaming verse. Like whether I'm playing video games with people from Discord or I hang out, like I just oftentimes need to chat. And that's why most people will see me. I'll be in everybody's chat after my podcast, just typing away. I'm like.
Oh yeah, nice way to unwind. I definitely get that as a chatty box. I like to when I get done go and play some games, and usually it's with the boys back home, and they're like, "Dude, turn off the streamer brain." But oh man, yeah, it is what it is. So, but I get you there. And sometimes you have to. You definitely do. So.
I think it's part of that self-care situation. Like streaming does, whether you're an introvert or extrovert, it takes something from you, and you just need to like have self-time or something that helps you like get out of that mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every stream is different, because sometimes you might have a really good stream, and then afterwards you're like, oh man, I gotta talk about it, or I gotta do something. Or you might have a crappy stream, and then you have to deal with having a crappy stream, and trying not to be hard on yourself. Like, what did I do wrong? Do they hate me? Does nobody love me anymore?
Oh yeah. You definitely understand those. For me, is trying not to look at the damn numbers. I'm a numbers guy because my day job's sales. So I look at numbers constantly. And
I have a chart that keeps track of all of my stuff.
Hey, there you go.
Right.
I've turned it all off.
Oh no. Yeah.
I have. I just at this point it's whether it's a good or a bad night, it's one of those ones where I fixate on it, and it's bad because then I usually hop off and I go and play, a game with the buddies, or go and talk to Anna, and it's just like crap. Now I'm just focused on whatever the heck that was, and if the games don't go well, or shoot, Anna's tired and has gone to bed or something like that, I'm like, well, what the heck do I have now? And
Yeah.
I just don't like internalizing it. So I try to sit there and go and focus on something completely different and just get my mind off it and not even look. I used to look every single stream.
See, I still
Streams
look
only.
every stream. I still do. I'm like, I got to figure out, okay, what did I do good? What did I do bad? How can I improve? How can I grow? And the numbers say a lot. Like, what game is doing well? Is this game doing good? Okay, people don't want to watch that game. Okay, I won't stream that game. I've done it 4 times
Yeah.
and it sucked compared to these other games. I'm just gonna stop.
For sure. And I don't know if you want to use this as a quick segue or an
Yeah.
easy segue into the first bit of tech. For me, one of my most helpful things has been AI.
Oh yeah. And I'll start the timer there too.
There we go. Perfect. AI has been a really good thing for looking at positive, I guess, feedback towards your analytics. So instead of looking at an ever declining, sometimes feeling, viewer rate, or, interaction or click through, or whatever, depending on your platform, and not knowing why, and just shooting in the dark and with, a big old shotgun, and not getting anywhere, you can start using that sort of stuff and go, well, it's my tags. My tags suck. So using some of those AI generated or AI inspired, video tags puts your information in front of the right audience. And I know it's definitely one of those ones that it's a kind of controversial right now, but it is, ultimately somebody else analyzing the data for you. And, where you're saying you got a spreadsheet, this is, obviously a little bit more than that, but
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the
it's
controversy with the AI is mostly the art, because that's like,
mhm.
stealing art. Whereas an
Yeah.
AI, an algorithm that reads numbers and figures out, data, I think
Mhm.
is just an algorithm,
Yeah.
that figures stuff out. And maybe I'm wrong. I usually
Well, I
am.
guess I guess where the controversy kind of comes in is videos that are basically completely AI made. You can have your script written, you can have your B-roll done from stock footage that's public domain. You can have voiceover. You can literally do your entire video with AI and publish it, and it's relatively no work if you know the right prompts to put in.
Yeah.
So for me, it's personally finding a balance. I like doing my cooking videos, I like doing my crafting stuff, game stuff, whatever. And I don't think AI can replace me sitting in front of a camera.
Right.
So it's not quite my mojo. So I sit there and use it as a tool, where it makes sense, just like you would with the right mouse and keyboard, or the right hardware when it comes to your actual computer itself.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. I totally get that. Because I also, for me, it's a little bit more difficult because obviously I do stuff like this where it's like me talking to someone else. You can't
Mhm.
AI represent two people having a conversation interaction about something. Uh, it's just not the same. It's not necessarily always intriguing, and it's not a person that like people come in here and either they know the guest and they want to see what the guest has to say, or they come in because I'm the host and they want to see me interview whoever it is, or talk with whoever it is, or hang out with whoever it is. They're not
Yeah.
coming to watch some AI do that. So it's a little bit different, I think, for me. But yeah,
Oh
doing an
yeah.
intro, getting the intro done, or an outro, or the background music or whatever redone is, um, I totally get that. I don't think I would do that for music. I think I would view the music kind of
Yeah.
like the art. Um,
Oh yeah.
Now, don't
I
get me
mean, to
wrong.
be
I'm going to use the art and stuff like that for like my gaming. Like, I need a character for this game I have with my friends. I'm not selling anything.
yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, it's just for personal private use for role playing. But
Yeah, and to be honest, using it for inspiration,
yeah,
sitting there and going I've done it for thumbnails, right? I sit there and go like, well, I'm having a hard time picturing my words or what I want to convey. And so you use one of these AI generators, and it generates an image, obviously, You know, for one that I use with Qui-Gon Jinn and Chewbacca, right? And they clearly used images from the animated series of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
Octavius said he thought I was just an AI.
you're not?
I'm totally an AI. I'm totally
Oh,
an
man.
AI.
Exactly.
Was that good? Did I do a good job? Did it sound like I was glitching out?
It's good. It was good.
I tried.
We'll just unplug you and plug you back in,
Okay.
and
Give me
all the glitches will be gone.
Give me a hard reboot.
But yeah, you know, and it's like using that as an inspiration to then go, okay, this is what I actually pictured, and this is now how I want to do it, and be able to create your own art from that. I don't know. I think that's a gray area, especially with how much inspiration you take. But you know, it's there are useful tools there, and you know, then there's the tools, you know.
Apparently, we're fired. We're fired.
Oh, damn. Well, that was fun, guys.
See you later. It's pretty good. Shortest off the pod ever. See you guys later.
Oh man, God, that was good. All right, so we wrapped in 3 now. I mean, but less controversial is going to be hardware itself, right? Is making sure you make the right choices when it comes to hardware.
Yeah.
You know I bought and built my setup right before COVID. And a lot of new stuff has come out since then, from the 20 series graphics cards now onto the 40 series. You know, the 13th generation of Intel. What is it? 12th generation of AMD, and DDR6
Dance Revolution. Let's go.
Dance Revolution 6. It's out, guys. No, but you know, you've got these, you know, RAM speeds that, I mean, 8 gigs of, you know, your highest level, you know, RAM now compared to, you know, even what I've got with 32 gigs, it just dwarfs it. And you know, it's being able to sometimes find the right things there, at least in my opinion. You can get a i5 that's going to do more than an i9, and it's going to cost you a third the price. And then, you know, you can do, you know, graphics cards right now, 40 series. Intel or NVIDIA bought way too many processor wafers, and there's going to be a huge excess. So if anybody,
so let's hope that means the prices are going to go down.
It does, actually. Yeah.
Hopefully.
So I've
Until
seen
people all buy them and, you know, jack up the prices again like they did a couple of years ago.
Well, and so that's just it. Is this was actually so little insider knowledge here. So this was in lieu of the Chinese ban on crypto mining. So when NVIDIA had to place the order to be able to get the bits and bobs that they need for their 40 series graphics cards, they were still predicting the massive purchasing of the Bitcoin miners and data miners, all that sort of stuff, and China outlawed it. And so now they've got about 300% more than what they would need for just a normal consumer market. So business to business sales, you know, that means Dell, Intel, or Dell, HP, Lenovo, those guys, they're buying 40 series graphics cards dirt cheap, which means builds, if you don't want to build your own computer, are going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
Because a graphics card is the cost of a build.
Yes, because I've never built my own. I've always just gotten a prefab.
You're better off.
It's always been easier because, like, yes, I can take the parts off and put them back in, but we're talking 10, 20 years ago was the last time I added any hardware to a computer, like internal metrics to a computer. So
oh, for sure. I mean, and it's all it is adult Legos. I think if you did it, you'd have a lot of fun. I mean, it really
I
is.
Minecraft with adult Legos. Come on now. Sorry.
It's IRL version of Minecraft, I guess. But I mean, like, that's literally it. It's like I just changed the power supply on my computer. I had an 800 watt bronze rated PCU, and works great. Problem is I kept plugging shit into my computer. So, you know, mouse, keyboard.
We were just talking about that.
Yeah, we were.
We're just talking. I've got one of these. I can't really show it. Maybe we can. There we go.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Little USB hub. I've got too many ports, and I'm like, because I got another camera still I need to plug in, and I just got a new mouse. I just got this new keyboard. I posted in my Discord. That's like just the left hand side keyboard. I've got a second Stream Deck that my friends got me for my birthday. By the way, how? Wait. I'm completely just off the rails here. Not really. How the hell did you stream before you got a Stream Deck?
I don't know. Hey.
Thank you, Octavius, for gifting a sub to Sunstrider. Welcome on in. That's all right that you're late. No worries. Yeah, I have no idea. Like, you said that to me when I first started. You're like, I have no idea how I stream before a stream deck. And I was like, well, it's
Nope.
easy. You just do this. And then I got a stream deck, and now I'm like, how the fuck did I stream without a stream deck? This is the what I was wasting so much time.
So much effort, so much headaches. I remember after getting my stream deck, I was playing Mountain Blade Bannerlord, and you have to use your F keys to do different troop commands, all that sort of stuff. And F1 and F2 were start and stop streaming, and F2 was the command to shut down my stream as well as move my soldiers. And didn't remember that because I switched over to a stream
Oh,
deck, just killed my stream. It's great. But yeah, no, it's like I was amazed. The first time I went up to New York to go see Anna, I watched her stream, and she doesn't have a stream deck. She doesn't have a secondary keyboard. She doesn't have a phone stream deck. None of that. She is a point and click freaking god. And it's like everything looks clean, crisp, whatever, like she's got the massive, like, what is it, 12 by 6 or whatever stream deck that's got folders on folders with somebody who is, that's their whole job, is to deal with her stream deck. That's how good she is. And I'm just like, how? Like, how do you do that? And I don't know, she's got a way. But it's like, I sit there and I can't do it. I just can't. I lose, I sit there and I click and forget to turn off the damn confetti and change scenes back, and I'm like, oh, we still have confetti, cool.
yeah, I've done
Stream
it.
Deck's
I've had so many times with the Stream Raiders going to the Stream Raider screen, and like I literally had to make a channel point redemption where they play a video of me telling myself I'm an idiot and I'm still on the Stream Raider screen. And I swear, if I'm doing Stream Raiders, it's once or twice a stream they're playing it,
Oh yeah.
and it's fun. They like playing it because it's me telling myself I'm an idiot. But
Oh, I might have to steal that because I can't tell you the amount of times I was working on that diorama and I forgot to change back to the art scene, which has like the overhead camera and like that was embarrassing. But hey, it happens. It happens to the best of us.
Another thing I want to talk about as far as tech goes, and it's a compliment to you because like I have the, when I'm doing the podcast stuff, I have the blurred background because I don't have anything, like my background's got a door over here and a door over here and a little bookshelf, but it's right behind me. And there's a desk over here. There's the walls are, whatever. So that's why I went green screen, which is great for me. But like in your 3 houses since you started streaming, three homes, your background's always been like on point. Your camera is always like super crisp and clear. And every time I come in, I'm like, look at this effort. Look at this perfect background and this perfect camera. He looks so pro with this stupid nice camera and stupid cool colored backgrounds and cosplay armor and weapons and cool shit in the background. And I'm like, I gotta blur my background because my background sucks. Like I've got Funko Pops and I've got my wrestling boots up there and stuff, but it's not a good looking background. And not many people realize that what is behind you really does contribute to the quality of your stream.
Yeah. I can't tell you the amount of times I have wanted to tear it all down and just use a green screen because you don't have to clean a bunch of fucking swords and armor. But we've got Big Daddy Burgundy, who's been with me since the beginning, and then DillyTheDoe, who she's joined us in this house. But yeah, it's a process. It's terrible to tear down every time I freaking move. I'm ready to be done with that. But yeah, it has helped. It for me, if for nothing else, it gives me that internal confidence to sit there and be like, nope, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this like a pro, whether I do it like a pro or not. So sometimes you sit there and it is that mental a little bit for a boost for yourself. And then the other side is it's like, well, if I'm down there 6-7 rows playing DayZ because it's a popular game, and you've got two people right next to each other and they both say English and they both say DayZ, and they're both a copy of me, and one's got a background and one's got a messy, unkept bed. No.
Or a blurry screen.
But a blurry screen is still taking the time to realize, like, hey, I
Yeah.
don't have a background, but I don't want you to look at
Yeah, if you've
something
got dirty laundry
unprofessional.
laying around, scattered around the floor, and like a hole in the wall in the back, and
Yeah.
you can see the door open to the toilet that's got a little floaty in there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. That's you put up the blur
Unless
and
you've
you're
got a
good to
very
go.
specific thing you like, then we won't judge.
If that's your stream, that's your stream. But um yeah, that's oof. But no, I mean it's definitely one of those ones where you can make do. I mean, you look at what is it, the
Sunstrider with a
Running Man.
clutch poop emoji.
Solid. Well, it looks a little unsolid, the emoji there.
It's
But you said that.
guinea pig poop, guinea pig poop.
Oh God, that's awesome. Um that threw me off topic or off my train of thought.
What's your newest piece of tech for streaming?
Newest piece of tech. Okay.
And are
How
you
many
using
did I
it
get?
yet?
Yeah, I'm currently using it. It's the power supply unit. So I upgraded to that 1200-watt power supply just because I had too much shit plugged in and it draws a lot of power. So I upgraded to a 1200-watt platinum for safety because again, a lot of shit's plugged in. So I don't want my computer to catch fire. Safety's key, guys. That's the one thing. Don't skimp on your computers. Don't skimp on a power supply. Buy a nice one. You'll thank yourself and your entire house later.
I don't
As
know.
long as it's
I don't know what I don't even I'm pretty sure I bought this one to run all of our pond equipment, and then I got a different one and I use this. So I think the one we're running is still meant for like running pond pump and aerators and all of that. So I'm pretty sure we're good.
I mean, wattage wise, yeah, you're probably quite fine. You might want to look at that safety rating. If it doesn't at least have a bronze sticker on it for your power supply.
I don't even know what that means.
So
I'm
inside
not tech savvy anymore. I was tech savvy in the 90s when AOL
yeah.
on when bleed, 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 I knew what that meant. But
Oh yeah.
now I'm old, so
Oh, the good times that dial up. You pick up the phone and you forgot somebody else is on the internet and you just get screamed at by the internet. Oh, it's lovely
I don't
times.
have to worry. That's how I disconnected my mom from the internet when I was pissed at her.
Oh,
And I
just
had my own
hang up
phone
there.
line, so I just use hers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, power supply, which is kind of boring for me on new tech here, but computer runs a lot smoother. I don't have nearly as many issues. But the real fun piece of tech I got, there's the heart monitor.
So there's the heart rate monitor, and I monitor
Very
it via my
nice.
phone.
Okay.
But the phone has there's an internet website, and you can get um you can get a browser source for the heart rate
Okay.
monitor, so it'll pop up on the screen, and so your phone tells the website, and then that is on there. So there's a little bit of a delay, but it's still
Yeah.
really it works for me. You can pick up, and there's a bunch of freebie stuff, and I don't remember what the app is. It's not Polar isn't the app. Polar has their
Okay.
own app as well, but there's a couple out there that are universal that work with whatever. But I use the Polar heart rate monitor, and it's pretty spot on. Other than the fact that I have to get it wet before I put it on.
Ooh. Hey, what you do in your own time. I mean, I know for mine, like since I do a couple of the survival shooter games, I've been actually using just the old Apple Watch and an app called Stromno.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it is a one-time paid app, but it's been pretty decent. I'm sure it's not as accurate because as my hand moves around, my watch moves around.
Yeah.
So
I get that with my Fitbit.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely one of those ones where
Wait, do you wear it
you
upside
get the
down? Wait, let
effect.
me see your watch again.
I wear
Okay,
mine
you
right.
were
I
right
wear
side
mine
up.
on the top.
Darn, I
Yeah.
thought we were twinsies on yet another thing, because nobody wears it upside down anymore.
When I'm swimming, I wear it like this.
Okay.
But for the rest, because you look at it and it's just habit. I mean,
See, I've always worn mine upside down, so that's always been habit. So I can't wear it right set up unless I'm playing like a PUBG or something. Then because it's the wrist there. That's when I have to flip it the right way.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think Other than that, I think the only cool thing I got is I've got a new 3D printer. I just bought an 8K resin printer. So
Nice. I have to remember
yeah,
the
that should be pretty
buttons. It's
fun.
like this one, and then
Oh,
it's this one, and then it's this
there we
one, and
go.
then
Damn
it's
it,
incoming
this
song,
one.
and it's that one, and then we're dancing. We're dancing on the controller. We're dancing. Dancing on the controller. Don't know what these buttons do, but we're doing them anyhow. I'm feeling bad, yeah.
I
Thank you,
love the
Roddy Mama,
song.
for the 500 bits. I hate that clip, but I love that clip. The Dead by Daylight, like the game, like we're about to go into a game, it timed right in there where it sounds like I was importing music.
That's awesome. Well, that is absolutely amazing. You gotta love when the clips line up.
Yeah, that's one
Oh,
of my. I don't like the clips of me singing at all. Like most, they're all embarrassing. That one I like. That one's fun.
yeah. Now I feel you there. There's not too many good singing clips in general out there. Usually people don't take a clip of the good ones. So
I don't think any of them are because their song clips are the best. No, they're not. They're not. What's your next piece of tech before our time runs out here? What's the
oh,
next piece that you wanna buy?
40 series graphics card or just a new PC, to be honest. I want to do a new build. I want to get something stronger for 3D.
Yay!
That was nice. That was a nice little
Yeah,
tune.
that's
I
a
like
fun. A lot
that.
of people like that little ditty.
Yeah.
Um, just a thing. I want to get a camera. I want to get a SLR, DSLR camera because I'm still
Okay.
using like a Logitech, which is still good. Like I've got decent quality, but I want to get a digital SLR. I want to better. I want to be able to better control my zoom and my range and all that kind of stuff, and then I'll rearrange where my monitors and everything are at. So
Oh, for sure. That is always a fun one, trying to now find a stand for a digital camera instead of a webcam. Don't skimp on that either, because it will break your camera.
right.
Never
Uh,
want those to fall.
it was a big deal when we got a second phone line for the internet as a kid. It's the Sunstrata. The Sunstrata. Good evening, Roddy Mama. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us and hanging out with us. And have a lot of fun. Roddy Mama is our new moderator, everyone. Say congratulations, Roddy Mama, and thank you so much for joining the Epic Realms team. I appreciate you so much for joining us and participating. Um, it's going to be really awesome having yet another mod because a lot of our mods are co-streamers, and Dilly, you understand this. You have a lot of your mods are also streamers, so sometimes you stream at the same time, and it gets hard, but we want to support each other because it's awesome. But at the same time, it's like we got to fill those slots, so it's good to
Sure.
have more mods that you can trust and have hanging out. So welcome on in, and thank you for being here.
Oh,
Song
for sure.
clips are the best, just not mine. Just not mine.
No, definitely yours. Definitely. You've got some of the best. I mean, absolutely legendary ones. So,
Oh,
ah,
condolences to Roddy Mama. Wow, that's for. I
Eddie.
think that's for being a mod. Condolences for being a mod. Being
Goodness.
part of it. You're so mean, Sunstrider.
I don't know. I gotta say a huge thank you to Dazzle and to Mystery and Camper, because holy crap, do they stay up late to mod.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, just absolute legends.
yeah.
So
They are awesome, and they're always like if they're not in here, who's Dazzle? Dazzle, something something Sunstrider.
exactly. I got Dazzle's name confused so many times when I first met Dazzle through, I don't know whose community, but yeah, I was just like, is it Sunstrider? Is it Strider? Is it Suns? I'm just like, fuck it, it's Dazzle. I'm like, you dazzle me every time you come in here, and that's what I'm going with. So I've stuck
Nice.
with it for the last 2 years. I'm gonna stick with it for the next, however long.
Bentley started calling him something something Sunstrider. I think for that same exact reason they didn't know how to say it, and then I started saying because I thought it was funny. But I just say
That's awesome.
Sunstrider now because I was like, well, that's it. I can I know I'm not necessarily screwing that one up.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But yeah, they're
Oh man.
those people if they're not in here like Sunstrider's in here all the time interacting and
Yeah.
chatting and doing jump scares and playing my Pokemon alerts and stuff like that, which I appreciate being in here. And Mystery and Camber are usually asleep, but usually right before bed they come in, they make sure they drop their lurk and then they go to sleep. So yeah, they're all really awesome
Oh man.
people.
For sure.
Sure. So our next topic, what people don't realize is going to be Sunstrider is amazing. One of my favorite peeps. Yes, one of mine too. Sunstrider said, "Yeah, the part of my name that nobody can say."
Yep. I'm like, if nobody's gonna say it, I'm just gonna make it up. It's the same with what is it, Necros, right? Like everybody, a
Necros,
lot
yeah.
of people say Necros, and I'm like, nah, it's Necros. And like that's how it got in my head, and I'm like, until he tells me to stop, and he hasn't yet. So yeah,
Necrosis.
it's better than what I think LP stands for in his username. So
Limited platinum. I don't know.
yeah, that's it exactly. Not little PP. Oh man.
Wow.
Um, no, I mean, shoot, another one of those folks who, I mean, everybody from Europe who stays up late just to be able to come hang out. You guys are absolute legends.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
can't
Awesome.
can't
What
hate
is
folks.
I know we're
Also,
off the topic, but
yeah,
what is your favorite one item that you've used or gotten for your stream that you're like, if I didn't
my
have
camera.
this, what's that?
My camera.
Your
My
camera?
camera. 100% buy a camera. Get yourself your camera. You will change so many things. I bought a Lumix G9 and I would never go back. Like the difference even with like my Logitech Brio, which is a 4K webcam versus being able to change lenses, to be able to adjust bokeh behind me, to do all the manual settings with white balance and color correction and adjust graininess, is just insane. And
Yeah. And
then
you can actually physically change that. Whereas in like a webcam, you change it, and then every time you do it, you have to, like my green screen, I have to go into the settings and change the settings every stream so that my green screen, guys, you don't understand. Every single time I stream and I need to use even when I don't use the green screen, I have to go into the settings and edit and monitor and change it. That's why every once in a while people are like, why are you so red? It's like, because I can't change certain things. I can't, it won't
yeah.
work.
Yeah, and when you do some of these big jumps, whether it be with like an upgraded microphone or upgraded cameras, to stuff that you have to know how to do the settings. Once you get good at the settings, it just changes. I mean, I definitely realized like my background was way too bright for what my little ring light could do, so I bought a massive light panel that's now up over me. It is terrible when I'm playing games like Hunt or Dead by Daylight or Dark games, but it's a necessity to make certain things work.
Yeah.
So once you get good with that, you're solid, and you will get a camera. I'm telling you.
And also, I want to say for people who are thinking, if they're watching this on YouTube down the road or if they're here live, if you're thinking of streaming and you're like, oh, I gotta wait till I get all that, don't wait.
No,
Just do it
no,
with what
wait.
you got and upgrade as you go, one piece at a time. Because you're not going to be a million follower streamer overnight. By the time you get to that point, you'll have already accumulated all of the gear you need, and you'll learn. Instead of trying to learn how to do all of the things at once, you can learn as you upgrade and as you get parts and pieces, and learn as you go. Don't delay. Especially nowadays, I think it's gonna, because the landscape is kind of starting to get saturated. You're going to have a lot more competition starting out, unless you already have a pre-generated audience. Like if you're like a newscaster, you're on TV or you do something already, then yeah, whatever, you were already known. If you're an author or a game designer or something and you already have a following, then it's a little bit different story. But if you're just starting out and like, I want to be a streamer and I haven't done anything before, then just get going now, don't wait. Use whatever camera, video, microphone you have, and just work your way up and upgrade as you go. So
yeah, a phone camera does fine, to be honest. You can get away with if you have an iPhone that's like 9 or later, you're fine.
Yeah. Octavia says, I will never get a good camera. As long as I'm blurry and grainy, they won't know that I'm Quasimodo in reality. You're not Quasimodo in reality. Don't lie.
Hey, the biggest mistake I also made was buying this camera. So it's one of those ones where I'm like, shit, now I never can go back. But you don't need it. You don't have to have it, but it is such a nice upgrade. And
literally beforehand, Dilly's over there like, can I borrow the makeup? I got this one little spot. Like, this camera's gonna pick it up. I need to.
She borrows my makeup. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
talking about tech here.
Yeah. Well,
Sunstrider
I
says,
mean,
I
what?
forget who said it, but I loved the advice. Buy economical the first time and buy expensive quality to replace it. Go
That's a really
cheap,
good way to look at it.
go cheap to good and skip the mediocre stuff. Fair enough. Then I will have a makeup team. Octavius is full of, I've seen him in reality, silly boy. Same here. Ditto. Ditto. Well, speaking of Quasimodo, have you done a Quasimodo cosplay?
I have not.
Is that something you want to do at some point?
God, no. That's a hard one. The posture, I think, would kill me the most with a Quasimodo. Because
You,
like cosplays, you have to learn the poses. Like that's huge, and uncomfortable poses suck. So
I did a. I'm gonna start the timer here.
there we
I
go.
started a. So I went to a summer camp when I was little, and this isn't necessarily cosplay, but I did a summer camp, some religious summer camp that I got sent to. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time. I had an amazing time, and you earned points for doing stuff. Each person earned points, and you could spend them during. They had like a costume contest thing, and you could spend. There was an auction. You could spend points on pieces, costume pieces,
Okay.
and there is a camps and stuff like that, and schools even have their own like their little stories, their little like hidden stories or whatever, that the haunted train caboose or whatever. And there was this one little basement to one of the cabins that was always locked, and everybody always said it was haunted by this hunchback that took kids in and whatever. And me, we've discussed in the past, I lived in a haunted house when I was little. I know what was I had inner feelings. I understand haunted shit. Like that place wasn't haunted. It was just probably a tool shed or something.
Oh yeah, spooky old shed that was a little run down, so it gets labeled haunted.
So and kids were legitimately scared of it. Like they were scared. And so during the auction, I was like, oh, that's a trench coat that'll fit. I'll buy that. There's this, and I built like a cosplay costume out of my auction points,
There we
for
go.
basically the unknown mascot of this camp, this horror mascot of the camp. And so then, and I didn't like, everybody's like, what are you, whatever. And so I dressed up as it, and like I hid and I scared other kids with it. And a couple people were in on the joke. And
Oh, that's
eventually it
great.
went around and they realized that because we found a way to get the doors open to that little area.
Mhm.
So we were down there and we bust open the doors, like, and they're like, oh my God, it's a hunchback run.
That's awesome. That is
Uh,
awesome. You gotta love it.
so yeah, and we had the competition at the end. I took second place. First place was like the owner's nephew, who spent all of his points and basically just bought everything they could, and he wore it all. He's like snorkeling goggles and a mask and a hockey jacket. Like he had like, it made no sense. It wasn't a costume, but they the campground kids didn't vote. The adults voted, and they just were like, "Oh, that's so
Oh
cute.
goodness.
We'll vote for him," and he won. But we all knew, everybody almost rioted. So uh,
Well, it seems a little rigged, camp owner's nephew. All right.
yeah, it was. But you've done a lot of like legit cosplay, going to conventions, dressing up for cosplay and stuff like that. What's your favorite cosplay that you've done so far?
Probably. Ooh, oh boy. Um, Honestly, my Harry Potter one. My Harry Potter cosplay is probably my favorite. And it's not like I cosplayed anyone in particular. One of my favorite things to do in cosplays is to look like someone in the show, but not the main character.
Yeah, not somebody specific.
Exactly. And so when I was living in Orlando, I was a part of a bunch of Disney and Universal and Harry Potter and Star Wars and whatever groups. And we'd go to the parks and we'd go in costume and we'd have a good old time. And every year in September we'd have the going back to school. So I built out this Harry Potter cosplay, and that's where my feathered or the feathered cap that's like made of leather, and I like did up the band, and then my gray robes with the leather lapels, all that sort of stuff. I made it all. And yeah, I was really proud of that because that was like my first really good cosplay that I made, that I
Yeah.
didn't have anybody's help or anything like that. And to be honest, I still wear the vest like out. Like I'll be like, okay, sweet, I need a green vest. Let me throw this vest I made on. But yeah, that one was really cool. And then the other one when it comes to like prosthetics, stuff like that. My dwarf was a lot of fun. The bald cap, the
That
big
nose, dear
nose.
God.
Oh God, yeah.
The first time I
That's
saw you, you did it on stream, and I don't remember if it was for a role play or if you were just doing it as solo. And I saw it, and I was like, I came in and I didn't realize it didn't register right away, and I was like, did somebody punch Dylan? He's got a broken nose. And then I
yeah,
looked at it, as like, no, his nose is just really big. Oh, that's not his no. Oh, and then I got it. And I was
yeah.
like, oh my God.
Yeah, we were doing, I think, Candlekeep Mysteries. We were doing a bunch of one-offs with chat, and so new streamers or new people to D&D, because this was back during the huge D&D rush of COVID, right? And people come learn D&D with a Candlekeep Mystery, and they were perfect for just one session games. And yeah, I would always come in character as a new character. And so that was definitely my most uncomfortable, but definitely most changing. Because like I've done different colored skin and, between blue, red, friggin' like super ghostly white, like all sorts of different stuff. And it's just, I always still look like me. I'm just a different color. But
Yeah.
like, when it comes to like that nose and then the bald cap on top of that, and then the ears and everything else, it's just like, wow, this is weird. And then the beard. That
Yeah.
beard was, I
Hot.
mean, first of all,
Hot.
yeah, yeah. Oh my God. Because it's real human hair. So it's like, and it's wove really thick, and then that gum paste, it just,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was a warm day to say the least. And then you can't breathe through your nose at that point. And then you're trying not to get beard and mustache hair in your mouth. Being beautiful is painful. So beauty is painful.
And Roddy Mama, I want to respond. Roddy Mama says, I see conventions to cosplay. And she asked what your favorite cosplay costume was. We covered. And what was your best cosplay experience at a convention? But I'm pretty sure we want to wait on that answer. I'm willing to bet. So besides the one that we're going to have later on today, that you and I both know about, Dilly, besides that one,
Okay.
what's your favorite experience at a convention?
My favorite is well, actually same convention,
Okay.
but earlier day of that convention. I did a Zorro cosplay from One Piece.
Okay.
So anime, he three swords, and then the rest is pretty simple. It's a pair of black pirate pants, a pair of black motorcycle boots. I took an old fighting shirt that I had that when I used to do, the suit of armor stuff with the swords behind.
Yeah.
I took one of those and tore the sleeves off, and then got a do-rag and did that, and then learned, as I was saying earlier, learned all the poses. So the sword in the mouth, swords crossed, and then like sword in the mouth, swords over one side, and figuring out all this stuff. And it was really cool to see, like, we had like three different generations of the same character, but to see the three different cosplays and to do all of those pictures, and then to see other characters from the show, and for them to be like, oh, hey, do you know? And I'm like, no, I'm not there yet. I'm like, I'm only in season 1. And they're like, oh my God, you're going to love it. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I know it's been out for like 20 years, but it was just cool. It was a really cool experience. It was, really the first time I've done a true character. It was nice. It was really nice.
That's cool. Cool. I love
Yeah.
Zorro. I loved all the Zorros.
Oh yeah.
Just the concept was always kind of cool, and it was kind of old west, but right on that cusp of technology sort of situation,
Mm.
depending on which era of Zorro you were talking about. I always dug Zorro in the concept. So Antonio Banderas is my favorite Zorro.
No, different Zorro. So not
I know.
Zorro
I'm just
as
saying that that's my favorite. Oh,
Oh, no, 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 no. So this is Zorro spelled differently too. This is an anime that is a
is it like
pirate
with an
anime.
X or something?
It's Z. Well, hold on. Let's see.
Here we go.
Now I'm gonna it's Zorro's his last name. So
Oh, well,
yeah, sorry. I'm just ruining it all for you
ruining
now.
it all.
Rorona Zorro.
All right. Well, you know what that means. That means you're
Zoro.
gonna have to do Antonio Banderas Zorro cosplay now,
I
just
will.
just because, just so just so we can talk
Well,
about it.
I'll have to do a crossplay. So what we'll do is I'll mix the two.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Those are always
Instead
fun
of
to see.
samurai swords, we'll just do, Antonio Banderas
And use like a rice hat instead of a, I don't know.
Okay. Something along those lines. But yeah, no. So that was a really fun one. Just because we saw a lot of the other characters from One Piece, and then Anna was Luffy, which is the main character, and
Okay.
it's just that was definitely just a goofy day, and it just carried on through the entire night because even after we changed out of our cosplays, we saw people in their cosplays still, or people who saw us in our cosplays earlier. It was just a good one. It was a good day, and it was a pretty easy cosplay too. So can't go wrong there.
Lyric says, my kids want to cosplay Genshin characters. And glad my youngest grew out of her desire to cosplay as a Xenomorph. I didn't have that in me.
Yeah, that'd be a hard cosplay to build, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure. I do like, going back to what you said, I do like the cross cosplays where they do they meld two things
Oh, for sure.
together
Yeah.
to make it. Identity Crisis popped in. Hello, Identity Crisis. Kind of like what I want to do with a Red Lantern Wolverine and Captain Batman.
Oh my goodness, that would be a. Oh wait, are we doing Red Lantern, Wolverine, Captain, and Batman all together, or is it
Like two different things?
Two different. Yeah.
I don't know. I still think a Red Lantern Wolverine would be kind of terrifying.
That would be. That'd be pretty cool though.
For sure.
I feel like I'm gonna have to go to Pinterest later and try to find some of these two different things.
Nice, nice. What's your when you were out at some of these conventions? What's your favorite convention you've been to? Because I know you've been to a handful of them.
I'd say MegaCon. I know I'm just like maybe still little drunk on the MegaCon Kool-Aid, but
Is that the one you just did?
Yeah. But it's definitely the biggest. And I'll say like with TwitchCon was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, and we met a lot of amazing people, but the entire time I was Dilly. It's just like, hi, I'm Dilly. And it's like, nah, man, I'm Cameron. Like, I want to relax. I'm taking PTO to be off of work to be here. And it's like, as much as I know you need a network and you need to do all the Twitch stuff, I just want to have fun in Artist Alley. And, that's what we ended up doing for a lot of it. But
Yeah.
I think that's why I say MegaCon is a little bit more fun because, every once in a while somebody's like, oh, what's your socials? What's your whatever? And, you're like, oh, cool, scan a QR code. But then you move on. You're talking about your favorite shows. You're talking about your favorite, art, your whatever. And that was really nice. It was really cool. I sat down with this like 70-something year old Vietnam Marine Corps veteran.
Okay.
And at MegaCon, I'm in full cosplay, mind you, with 3 foam samurai swords strapped to my hip. He's like, yeah, can I ask you why? Because I was like, first of all, I was like, thanks for your service. I was 3rd Infantry, U.S. Army, blah, 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 whatever. And, he's like, why? What? Like, he's like, I'm here with my 40-year-old son who has been into this all of his life, and I just don't get it. And I'm like, it's because here we don't have to worry about getting told why. So we just all get it. And it's like we have fun cutting out of our boring realities sometimes. Like, guys, like selling computers is not fun, believe it or not, when it comes to like the nitty-gritty of like, do you want this processor or this processor? Do you want this, whatever or this whatever? And it's never cool shit like RGB stuff. It's boring business stuff.
Yeah.
And so to sit there and nerd out with a vendor who does 3D printing and to just sit there and talk with him for hours on 3D printing metal because he's got a metal 3D printer. Like, that's cool. Yeah. And then stuff like that. Like that was MegaCon, and that was just really nice. Sorry, that was a long-winded way to.
No, that's all right. That's what this is about. Like you're obviously like enjoyed it, and like some people that are watching might not like. I've been to Gen Con, and I've been to a couple local conventions here, but I've never really been to a Comic Con, like a real Comic Con. Mostly because I feel like if I go, I've got to do one or two things. Like you said, you got to network. I'd want to go and talk to wares because like I talk to, especially at a Comic Con, like I know We just had Otis Frampton on, for crying out loud. And we've had Chuck Dixon on, and like all kinds of comic book legends we've had on the podcast. I'd want to go and be like, hey, I've had this guy on the show. Like, I'd want to hawk. And I
Yeah.
know for a fact I probably wouldn't get time to have fun for myself. And we have like a local RPG convention here called Con of the North that my wife kind of introduced me to, and then all of our friends kind of got introduced to. And I went for like 3 or 4 years. I've had a blast, but for some reason, I go and I just kind of wander around, and like not participating in events has had been fun for me.
Okay.
And there's no cosplay there. There's nothing like, there are people, they're all role playing mostly,
Yeah.
playing role playing or playing board games. And then there's a vendor hall, and I just like to walk around and chat with people. And then and not promote things. And I'm like, and that was more fun for me than some of the role playing stuff, which it was crazy because when I first got there, that was like the thing I wanted to do. Like, I
Oh,
get to
for
spend
sure.
an entire weekend role playing with people I don't really know and kind of seeing what other people do. Like, that's cool.
Oh yeah. That, I mean, holy crap. And I'll definitely say you'll see that. You'll see that at some of these big conventions. Like we walked into the Star Wars area. That was just like, holy freaking Star Wars. I thought I was at Galaxy's Edge. I thought I was at a Disney park. It was that good.
Nice.
And it's in the convention center, right? So it's like you can find that stuff. But I get you, like sitting there and talking to people, hearing other people's stories, and like talking to the guys who made all their Halo armor, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, ooh, the work that goes into that, like whether it be with EDF foam or, you know, whatever the heck they're building, you know, those things out of.
Yeah.
It's just like to hear how they did it, to like see them get excited because somebody's asking them like, oh my God, you have a needler needle glowing out of your backpack. How the hell did you do that?
Right.
And it's just like, you know, for them to be able to talk about it, and then for you to be able to talk about, you know, some of the, you know, if you're in cosplay or, you know, I mean, like, shoot,
Yeah.
one of my big ones is going as Ash, Ash Ketchum. And, you know, yeah, all the little kids, they want pictures, you know, and then you sit there and you see a lot of the, you know, other, you know, people our age that are like, well, shoot, we got to get the Pokemon cast together. And so you take 1.5 billion photos like that. And it's just, you can find what you're looking for at any of these
Right.
cons. If you're ever worried that you're going to be like, well, just go,
Yeah.
just go.
I
It's
do. I
worth a
do
day
want to. I do
pass.
want to do one of the Gen Con did have a lot of cosplay when I went to Gen Con. They did have a
Yeah.
lot of cosplay, a lot of cool cosplay stuff, a lot of RPG type cosplays, a lot non RPG cosplays. Like, yeah, you see your standard Halo and stuff like that. But uh, I do at some point. I think it would be fun to go to one and do some sort of cosplay outfit. I've got a really cool Red Hood outfit. If you follow
Okay.
comic books, I've got the foam. We use the what is it, Tepakura or Pepakura or whatever the name of the thing is, where it's like a folding.
Oh, okay,
It's like if
okay.
you usually it's usually done with paper, but you can do it with foam and you can fold it and you like meld it in there. So I've got a little foam helmet that looks like an actual helmet. I airbrushed it, and it was my
Oh,
first one,
nice.
so it's wasn't the best, but it still was really passable. I really enjoyed it, and I've got like the armored vest and the coat and the dual pistols and all of that. And for those that don't know, Red Hood is one of the Robins from Batman, who's Jason Todd. He ended up dying, and we could have a whole 5 hour talk about the Batman and Robin's stories, but
Oh my
that's
goodness.
probably my only real full cosplay where I can play as a different character. Like, I have lots of little costumes that I've done, but they've all been like you
Mhm.
said, like, this is a priest in a D&D world based on this priest, or this is my one of my characters, or I could put together probably 30 different pirate costumes based on all my
Yeah.
pirate stuff. But that's
I
my
get
one
you
where
there.
it's like, this is a character, a specific character that I'm portraying, that I'm playing as. So,
Yeah,
and my
yeah,
Batman
and
onesie doesn't count.
oh well, I mean, come on. Yeah, we definitely saw worse than a onesie. The amount of Pokemon onesies that were cosplays, and I'll definitely say like one of the big things, and this is kind of the other side of cosplays and cons and all that sort of stuff, is like cosplay is not consent, you know, and it's just like there's also the rule of nudity is not cosplay. And you know, the cosplay is not consent is a very clear,
Yeah.
hard line in the sand. Guys, girls, everyone, people are wearing what they want to wear and what they feel comfortable in. You don't need to make a comment, good, bad, or indifferent. Just, you know, if you want a picture, ask permission to take a picture. and then move on with your
Yeah,
day.
and don't be creepy. Try
Um,
not to be
yeah,
creepy. And I know some people, it's like they can't help like their personality, like whether they're on the spectrum or whatever the situation is. Sometimes they just come across as creepy. Um, just try not to be. And if you are, hopefully the other person understands that you're not trying to be creepy. It's just the way a person is.
yeah.
There's so many videos of people with like autism and stuff at like Disney, and they know the performers there, they know, they can tell when somebody that's just, they've got mental health stuff, and they roll with it, or they help, or whatever the situation
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. And look, if you don't know what to do for your picture, the best thing you can do is just a double thumbs up, guys. Like, I know like a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to put my arm around and touch someone. And it's like, well, then don't. Just do one of these. Do some peace signs. Like, there's lots of stuff you can do. So you don't have to, fit a status quo or anything like that. Just act within your own comfort level. And again, the biggest thing is if you don't know, ask.
Right.
Asking is
I
always
used
the
to work
right
at
way.
Renaissance festivals as my pirate character, and you have no idea the number. And God, this is gonna sound egotistical. Maybe I shouldn't say this.
You started.
The number of I started the number of people that come up, of women that come up and be like, can I get a picture with you? Sure. Are you okay if I do something, if I have like a little bit of naughtiness in the pose? I'm like, go for it. Go as naughty as you want. Just don't stick your tongue down my throat. Other than that, it's pretty much fair game. That's
Oh
my,
yeah. Ooh,
and I tell
here we
people all the
go.
time. I tell people all the time that like my I think my job as my character at the Renaissance Festival, my job was to flirt with people. Like that's kind of my self-imposed job, because that's how I
Yeah.
drew half of my audience, was that, because I knew what my audience was. I knew what I was. I was eye candy that was fun to, for girls. I get it. Some guys too. There's a whole fop group of people that came out, and they flirted with me all the time, and they knew I was straight, and but they knew that I was okay with them flirting and playing, and that they knew I was straight, and they didn't care. And half the time they're like, especially during the times that I was single, the entire fop group or any of the other their adjacent friends who were gay would constantly, like, they'd be like, hey, what about that girl over there, or whatever. They try and they knew, but they were still
Yeah.
super cool, and they knew that I was cool with them. And I made a lot of good friends in the LGBTQ community through all of that. So
Oh yeah.
long-winded again. See, we both do it. We both do
Well,
it.
it's the beauty of some of these stories though, is because you can learn from it. And doing the cosplay and cons is just going to open you up to more exciting and amazing people and more ways of life.
Lurk
So
wants to know if you did green hair for your Zorro.
I didn't. I didn't do green hair. So normally when I do hair color changes, it's with an airbrush. So actually my little airbrush back here, which this is my acrylic brush, so
That's the same
I
nozzle. That's
can't.
the same handheld I use.
I love it.
I've got
Super
two
nice.
other ones. I got two other ones where you can detach the thing, and I like the one where it's in there, and I just clean it out.
Yeah, I've got well, so actually for doing my makeup, I don't use that. I have one that's similar to this for the detail work, but the one that I do for like if I'm doing color change, it's got a big reservoir on the bottom, and it's the straw method where it just brings the makeup up and through the nozzle. And that's just good at just chucking makeup real quick.
Yeah,
So you kind of if airbrush is a difficult thing, a lot of it's just practice. And I
and
mean, you do your
I
picture
think for
moves and
something
stuff,
like
so you know.
makeup or bigger projects,
Mhm.
especially projects where you're doing a lot of layering, where you have to swap colors quick, then yeah, I think that's a look at that. Look at that.
All
I've
the
been watching you.
layers.
You were doing the dragon last time I saw the actual, and it kept
Yeah,
falling off of its holster.
yeah,
It's like
I
I
got
got
one of
there.
those little. Yep, yep, that was rough. Thankfully everything's glued safely and soundly in place. The only thing left there is some lighting. But yeah, no, it's airbrushing is not an easy thing. People who sit there and are, like they do the minis and they only do airbrushing on like a 1/32 scale. I'm just like, y'all are freaking insane. How do you get that detailed with something that I'm like, if I barely touch the paint spray part, it's just like all the paint all over, and now I've got it a purple mini, and it's just like, no, that's not what I wanted. So I give them all the credit in the world for it. They're great at it. But makeup I can kind of do. I can
Yeah.
sort of do. So
Octavia says doing the dragon has a different meaning for me.
you bad dragon, you. Oh my
Naughty,
goodness.
naughty, naughty.
Oh, that's too funny.
Oh
But
my gosh. Shame. Shame, shame, chat. Shame on you all. Okay, just shame on Octavius. That's naughty. Oh.
oh goodness.
We will talk about a favorite favorite convention event here in a little moment. But guys, we're gonna take a quick break. We're at about the hour 10 mark, so we're gonna take a quick little break. We're between sections 1 and section 2. We'll take a little break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about Star Wars, and then we've got our dreaded and also famed potluck to talk about, and we'll talk a little bit more. So if you've got questions or comments about things, feel free to do so. To get some items, thoughts, processes to come up and post. And of course, we're not restricted to time when it comes to your comments, so we can talk about your stuff after the time's over as well. So feel free to get your comments and whatnot in there as well. And also to our mods that are in here, while we're on the Be Right Back screen, do you guys want to maybe post some shout outs for some of our peoples, including our good friend DillyTheDoe to start out and maybe to end it up? So we will be right back, and enjoy the upcoming Be Right Back screen. Hello, we are back. Welcome back, everybody who had stepped away for the break. Thank you for shouting out all of our people that have been hanging out here. Thank you for giving shout outs to DillyTheDoe as well, a couple in there. So thank you guys so much. And for those that are in here hanging out with you, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for waiting through the break. I didn't have shout outs turned on, so you couldn't hear them or see them during the break, because usually I have clips that play. It auto plays clips. And I was like, we should just have shout outs happening, because we got enough people in here, and shout outs can happen even if it's just the same shouting out, our guest over and over again. That's would have been fine by me. So so thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for those of you who are hanging out. And if you're lurking and you stepped away for a lurk or you got to go, thank you so much for heading out and joining us today and lurking. And make sure, guys, your lurks count, whether you're in my stream, whether you're in Dilly's stream. If you're lurking anywhere, it sounds like they changed it. I guess the muting doesn't matter anymore if a stream's muted. Apparently it still counts. But if you have more than 2 tabs with a stream open, it doesn't count any of them. I've had two people that are partnered that have talked with Twitch, and that's what they were told, that if you have more than 2 tabs in a window of a stream, it won't count any of them, and that includes for drops. So there you go. So make sure.
Is that with volume on?
Volume doesn't matter, they said. They were told that volume doesn't matter, is what they were told. Whether that's true or not, maybe they were lied to. I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, make sure you have separate windows for your streamers, guys, if you're gonna lurk. So,
well, I can't confirm the volume doesn't matter thing, because that they were saying similar stuff at TwitchCon, but the 2 tabs, that's a surprising one.
Yeah, they were told that if you're lurking in more than 2 tabs, it won't count them. It won't count if it's more than 2 tabs. You're only allowed 2. How they track that, I don't know. Like, how would they know? I guess maybe they can view who your account is viewing. So maybe if you're a guest, it wouldn't matter because they can't track who that is. But maybe if you're logged in, I don't really know how that works.
Well, so I know, like, I don't know if you use Ko-fi or if anybody in your community uses Ko-fi. It's kind of like Patreon plus Etsy.
Yeah. I know May and I had a long conversation about whether it was pronounced coffee, Ko-fi, Ko-fi, because she was saying Ko-fi for a while, and I was like, no, it's coffee. And then we both found out that we were both wrong, and it was Ko-fi.
yeah, and that tracks IP. So she had a poll in hers, and what we found out is if I was on Wi-Fi because she had already voted, I couldn't vote as well. So when I switched to cellular, changes my IP from my phone. So I'm wondering if that's how they track it, because I'm not gonna lie, like Big Daddy Burgundy likes to watch, and I've got a spare laptop, so he pops in every once in a while. But it's like you sit there and you every once in a while wonder, like, well, does that view count?
Yeah. And
So
again,
I
this
don't
is
know.
just what I've been told by a couple partnered streamers who went and talked to some of them and
Yeah.
in there, because I was having issues with Twitch drops, and I mentioned it, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
Twitch drops is like the new views where they've changed it where you can only have two things open up, and they went on this whole thing about it, and I was like, wait, what? And yeah, like Bentley says, I thought it was like you could have 3 or 4 tabs open, and some people didn't even know it was limited. And
Yeah.
so, and like again, we talk about like tech. I'm not super techy. I'm like, how do they even know? But I guess they can view what you're viewing, because if they're counting streams or counting how many people are viewing, they can tell who you're watching as well. So maybe it can
Yeah.
count like, okay, this person is on 5 streams. Um,
Well, you look at like the bot trackers, right? Like you search, whatever
yeah, how are
weird
they in so
username
many
pops
channels?
in.
Well, I guess maybe they're well. That's why they don't count. That's why they don't count. They're
Exactly.
in there, but
Yeah.
they don't
So,
count. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's how they're trying to fight the bots, and that's like
mhm.
part of their algorithm is figuring that out. But either
Well,
way, yeah, it's
if giving a secondary view is a little bit harder, versus like having a bunch of those bad bot raids, I would rather have to work a little harder to lurk for my friends, which it's like shoot, I'm willing to do, than have to deal with somebody coming in with hate. I don't know. I think it's a fair price to pay.
Lyric
But
pointed out that if she has more than 3 tabs open, one doesn't accrue channel points, so it probably doesn't count. Yeah.
yeah,
So she
so
said
if
it
you're
might have
accruing channel points,
gotten put down to 2. But yeah, I think it's ridiculous because you want to. I guess they also don't want to pay ad revenue to people who are lurking, so they
yeah.
also don't want it to count that way. So I'm sure because I'm sure that's part of it. I'm sure ad revenue is part of it for Twitch. But guys, just remember to if you want to support your streamers, do what you can, and nobody's going to complain. But if the more we know, the more we can make sure that our views count for the people we love and support. So. Um, yeah, that's all I've got to say on that. That could have almost been a whole topic on its own.
Oh, we could have, yeah. Shoot, give it a potluck, and there we go. Oh
So
man.
we were talked earlier about the cosplay and conventions, and somebody asked what your favorite what your favorite thing that happened at a convention was, and we were gonna save it. We're saving it for this one, and we're saving it for Star Wars, and we're saving it for Star Wars for a reason. You want to tell us this? Tell us the story, because you kind of mentioned it a little bit to me on the side, but
Yeah. Should I just like go grab something real quick? It might a picture's 1,000 words, right?
a picture is worth 1,000. Sure, sure. Go ahead. We probably should have done this during the break. What were you
I
thinking?
know. I'm sorry.
Look at those pajama bottoms. Look at the profession. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Look at this. It's like I can still make out his facial features in the background. God damn your camera. You and your goddamn spicy camera.
It is a good camera. Sorry for any playback there for my headphones. So probably the coolest memory, or a thing that has happened to me. Ironically enough, I was cosplaying as Ash, when this happened. It was at MegaCon.
Ash Ketchum?
Yeah, yeah,
Just making sure.
yeah.
Because
Yep.
because to me you say Ash and I go, oh, you had a chainsaw for a hand? That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that Ash. The one that just hacks all the Pokemon in half. It's
Yeah.
great. It's a different movie, but
I've seen a crossover. I've seen an Ash as Ash. So they were like
oh,
Ash
that's awesome.
from Evil Dead, but they were Pokemon catcher and they had the Pokeball and stuff. So I've seen the crossover where they play the amalgamation of the two.
That's amazing. That is I just want to see the pictures from the con and all of the people in Pokemon making funny stuff. But anyway, so yeah, we were we were making our plans to go to MegaCon, and the celeb list meet and greet stuff all came out, and Anna pulled me into her office and she's like, hey, like, look, the list came out, and I saw one person there and my eyes just lit the heck up, and she's like, okay, sweet, thanks, that's all I needed you here for. And she booked me a meet and greet with this handsome little devil here, not me on the one side, but Hayden Christensen. I got to meet Annie himself, and oh my god, I got about 15 seconds, but that was some of the best time I have spent on this planet. The sweetest, gentlest, just kind human. Like, you could tell this. I mean, he was 4 hours over. already. Where
Wow.
and it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. Um, and like you get like this pre-speech, like, don't give him anything, don't try to touch him, don't try to hug him, don't try to, like, just go get your picture taken and get the heck out.
Right.
And I turn around and like my eyes obviously just light up, because this is the guy,
Yeah.
this is what I know is Star Wars. This is what I grew up with. I grew up with Phantom Menace and all the Clone Wars and then Revenge of the Sith. Like, it's just then to sit there and see two of those movies with him, and then to have that realization, it's just, I mean, holy crap. It was a kid on Christmas morning. It was, uh driving your favorite car. It's, the first kiss,
Yeah.
butterflies, all of that all at once. And he just reached out his hand, and I'm like, hey man, how's the con been? And I'm like, hey man, how are you doing? And he's like, I'm tired. And I'm like, good con? And he's like, yeah. And that was literally it. And it's like, I know it sounds weird, but that was 15 seconds. I felt like I was the only person in that room. And he genuinely took the time, to sit there and shake my hand, make me feel, appreciated, gave me a little shoulder squeeze on the way out. And yeah, he has no clue what I look like, doesn't remember my name, and I'm probably just a blurred
Yeah.
face to him. But
But
to me, it was
he
love.
knows, like a lot of those guys,
Yeah.
especially the ones that do a lot of conventions, they know that they
Yeah.
make other people's days amazing, and to them that's cool as shit.
Yeah. And the fact that he was that far over his overall time, and to sit there and still make everyone feel very, very special. And like, like, look, like, it was not cheap. And he did not waste a penny of it.
Yeah.
It is one of those things that if ever I get a chance to meet him again, if I see him out and out and about, he's one of those few that I would never want to be like, oh, let me go grab a picture with him now. It's like, now that I've met him, I'm just, just a wave, like, let him go about his business, because it's like he's so kind in
Yeah.
those other situations that
Yeah.
it's just like, cool people. So that was by far my best con experience.
And that is Star Wars related. And for those that are in the chat, I just posted the link. And Dilly, you've said you've got the stream open, so you can go ahead and click that link. And it's also in my Discord. I posted it in my general page, I guess. Yeah, I posted it in the general, that picture of Ash and Ash.
That is amazing.
So
I'm
it's Ash
saving that.
Ketchum as Ash from Evil Dead. And then he's got Pokemon also with the chainsaw hand. Or Pikachu with the chainsaw hand.
The Pikachu is really what does it for me, because it's a bloodied up Pikachu with a chainsaw. And it's just the cutest thing ever. And it's a Squishable. So it's like he's just like the big plushie that, I mean, oh god, that's great.
Yeah.
That is abs. And then you've got the Joker in the background, just not looking menacing at all compared to Ash. Like,
No. Yeah. No. Well, Ash would. I think Ash would own the Joker. Probably not. He'd screw something up. But yeah, it's you just throw a Pokeball at Joker and be like,
just catch
gotta
him.
catch them all.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. That's awesome.
for sure. I what was your first introduction to like Star Wars? What like got you into Star Wars?
Ooh, my hometown theater.
And maybe there's a
When I was
different
growing
story
up.
between like where you first were introduced to it and what got you
Oh,
like,
okay.
I love Star Wars, because that for some people they're not the same thing.
Well, they're very close, if
Okay.
not the same thing. I
Okay.
think part A was, seeing them in theater. They were re-released right before Phantom Menace came out. They were all re-released in theater, all the digital remastered, all that sort of stuff. So my dad and all the neighborhood dads, all the sons, all that sort of stuff, we all went, and like middle of the day, Tuesday or something like that. So it was
Right.
an even more special event because he got pulled out of school. But
Nice.
then yeah, we went and saw it, and it was just, it was cool. It was a combination of, knight in shining armor, minus obviously the shining armor part, but in sci-fi fantasy. And it played to a lot of my interests at the time. Like, I definitely was that nerdy dragon kid. Like, I mean, obviously the diorama that I've been building, and then I ate all that up. And then I also like the sci-fi space stuff, where I grew up with, a lot of science, a lot of STEM, and so that sort of stuff was introduced to us a lot. So seeing that combination in a really fun way on a huge screen was truly influential. And then kind of getting into like Legos and the toys and the merchandising side of it, I think really sealed it. Like my dad sat there and I mean, they didn't have those sort of cool toys back in the 70s, so he lived a little vicarious through me. And the combination of the two really kind of cemented it in. So
Yeah, I'm similar. I was like a knights in shining armor, samurai, ninjas, that kind of stuff was all my bag. And then of course eventually like superheroes and whatnot.
mhm.
And I liked Star Wars, but I wasn't like super into Star Wars. Like I like Star Wars and I'd watch it, and all of my friends were like, "Oh, Star Wars!" And this was long before the prequels because I'm old, and you know, I'm not even prequel old, but like when Lucas went in and started adding other stuff to the movies after the fact, like that was taboo for us. We're like, no, no, and so, but like I wasn't super huge into it until I started
Mm.
role playing because, and
Oh, okay.
I got into we were playing GURPS and D&D. Well, eventually I got introduced to Star Wars role playing, and there were all these source books that reference things in the novels, and these source books for stuff that didn't happen in the movie, and all this lore that existed that wasn't in the movies, or that explained stuff in there. It's like, here's the entire backstory of Boba Fett, which at the time wasn't what the current backstory is, because the
No,
prequels and all the other stuff wasn't out. So like, here's the story of the Star Wars, the troopers, and the the just everything, the royal guard, the imperial royal guard, and Bosk, what's Bosk's background, and just
that'd be an interesting
um
one. Yeah.
the droid that's in the Mandalorian, the God, what is the not that particular droid, but
The assassin droid?
the assassin droid. God, what are they called? The
Oh,
IT
goodness.
ID I don't remember. But there's a specific one that you like in the movies. You see him in a trash heap with some Jawas, and like that's it. And then he's got this whole lore about how he's like the second best assassin out there, and he's just a model of a droid to be the best. ID 1700. You know that the YT 1700 is the ship. God, I can't remember the name of the bot.
Yeah, once it goes into model numbers of some of the Star Wars robots, I will admit I get a little lost. I I really didn't get introduced to the deep lore until really COVID, to be honest. I had met a guy in Orlando who does Star Wars lore YouTube, and
IG-88. That's what it was.
there
IG-88.
we go.
Magic Droid. Go ahead.
But
I had to
but yeah,
look. My
he
brain wouldn't let me.
fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, he made it big on YouTube, and I was like, well, let me check a video or two of his out, and that obviously, rabbit hole, wormhole of the internet sort of thing. And then I had to drive here to Texas to visit my folks. I was coming to stay with them for like a month, and I was like, well, I got 17, 18 hours of nothing to do. So I downloaded the audiobook for the Thrawn trilogy, and that is really, I think, what sealed the deal of like, okay, now I want to learn everything I possibly can. I
Yeah.
want to play all the games. I want to play all the games in the most immersive way possible. And as a streamer, it's really, really tough because I'm like, well, I really want to play Jedi Survivor, and I know I probably should stream it, but I know I'm going to pay attention to absolutely none of the story or the lore or any of that. I'm going to get nothing out of the game. And then I know myself, when I'm done with the game, I'm like, I'm good. I'm not going to play it again because I've already played the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a tough complex, I think, to try to wrestle with.
I'm struggling with Cyberpunk on that right now.
Yeah,
Not to digress, but yeah, I'm a little struggling on that because it's a good story, but I'm also streaming it. So
yeah, it's how much of the story can you really retain when you have sound alerts and a community that you're trying to hang out with and talk to, and and that sort of stuff is equally as important as the game. But the game typically is the one that takes the back seat. At least that's the way I personally choose it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit perplexed with the new Star Wars game.
People are getting some
So
extra time on this one because I forgot to start the timer. So
hey, there we go. Look at that. We just started. I
we
love
just
it.
started the time, guys. You get an extra 20 minutes of Star Wars talk. Congratulations.
There we go. But yeah, you get oh god, that we could fill this
Yeah, that's not
20
gonna. It's
minutes
not
with
going to be an
this
issue. It's
ships
not going to be an
alone.
issue.
Oh man, quick side note, I found I found and bought a STL for
Turn
Mando's
it up, yeah. Turn it up, yeah. Turn it up, yeah. Turn it.
And when everyone wants you to turn it up, yeah?
Damn it, Sunstrider. That is Sun. I think
love
that's
it.
Sunstrider's favorite. That's everybody's favorite.
It is. It's a solid redemption. I mean, definitely a good one.
Sunstrider likes to go into other people's streams, and when they sing it, not realizing he likes to clip it, hoping that when they get shouted out, I will see it. And I do, and I'm like, no, damn it.
That's amazing. You're what is it? I shouted you out and it was a scare clip that got shouted out that scared me. And I know that one's been like
somebody clipped you
clips.
getting scared of the clip of me getting scared, and I'm waiting for that to show up in a shout out that I do and scare me. And it's like clipception.
Just full on, just back and forth. It'll be great. 2 years down the line, it'll be like 12 clips deep, and the lore will be immense. But yeah,
I know I've seen other people get scared. They've shouted you out, and I've seen them get scared. And I was busy, and I was like, I gotta clip that, and then I forget. Now I don't even remember who it was, but I've seen the shout out of you getting scared from me getting scared, and I've seen it scare other people in their streams. So
no, there's a TikTok idea right there. It's just get all of those, and there's a series all in itself. But yeah, it's God, clips are great. I love the. I think you were actually the one that introduced me to Clip Guru, or Twitch Guru, whatever it is. But yeah, it's that's a cool feature. I will say it gets buggy at times, but yeah.
I haven't. Well, we can talk about that off stream. I've got some info for you.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Did you ever get a chance to? Have you ever got a chance to role play Star Wars, or did you just do video games and whatnot?
Not in the sense of like tabletop role play. We used to do the stuff for Galaxy's Edge, and I dabbled a little bit with like Saber Legion and those guys a little bit, but not in the sense of like, all right, I'm gonna play a campaign on a tabletop. I've always wanted to, because I'm like, oh, it's cool, the idea of like I get in 5e, there's guns, there's all that sort of stuff, and there is mechanics for it, but it's like, let's be honest, when you're playing D&D, most people choose a bow or a ranged spell or something along those lines over a gun, and at least in my case. And so yeah, I was like, all right, cool, that'd be a nice new addition, but never really found a group to play with. All the million of why you didn't join a group excuses that everyone has, but I just haven't found realistically the time.
Yeah, I got that. They've done a handful of good Star Wars RPGs over the years. West End Games being the first tabletop RPG that they did in like the 70s was really good, because it's just like die sixes. That's all you use, and the higher your skill is, the higher you basically go up, and you get dice and pip. So like your skill is like a dice, and then you get 1 pip, 2 pip. When you get a 3rd pip, you just get an extra dice instead of a 3rd pip.
Oh,
so then your next level is 2 dice, and then it's 2 dice and 1 pip. 2 dice, it's 2 dice plus 1, 2 dice plus 2, 3 dice, 3 dice plus 1, 3 dice plus 2. And then I think it's like once you hit 4 dice, then you have to roll against your own dice. So the more you roll, like I want to level it up, I spend the experience and then you roll. If you fail the roll to level up, you lose the experience and you don't level up. But if you spend the experience and you succeed, then you get to level it up. And so you get, we had characters. It's like, what do you got? I got an 8 die plus 1 at my blaster pistol skill.
Yep.
But you could also like take extra action, so you could minus off a dice to do extra things. So it's like, I'm going to shoot that guy, but I'm going to minus a dice so I can shoot that guy. And I'm going to minus a dice so I can shoot that guy, but I'm also going to minus another dice to make sure to shoot that guy in the head. And then you'd roll for each thing with your -5 dice.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely not the D&D I'm used to.
No, it's a different mechanic. And you couldn't play a Jedi because it was just like, what are you? I'm a low level, low experience Jedi. What do you do? I kill everyone. I don't care if you've got 8 dice and everything. I guess I've got a horsepower that just so we just didn't really allow it.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of Star Wars groups is it's just no Jedis. You know, you can do bounty hunters, Mandalorians, you could do,
Now, I will say so Wizards of the Coast came out with 2 Star Wars RPGs, and I think it's the second one. I think it's called Saga, Star Wars Saga. That system was really good to implement Jedis and non-Jedis, and it was kind of like D&D, where you have like a class and then you get levels. But you could cross over. There's a lot of ability to cross over and like pick and choose stuff from other classes. That was really cool to be able to like build your own unique build.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like this is the Royal Guard class. This is the the Jedi. Like there were Jedi. There were like 4 different classes of Jedi you could take, but they all were different things. There's like, I think Failed Jedi was one of the classes, but you get like different things for being them. Or Redeemed Jedi, you play a character that was once turned to the dark side and has redeemed himself. And then you play and there's and they had stuff from all of the different books and all the different sets that was really cool. So I highly suggest if you like 5th edition, D&D is probably the closest you'll get is the Saga edition of Star Wars role playing. And I've got a friend who borrowed me the books and I gave them back, but I know he hasn't played them, and I keep wanting to play again, but I forgot the rules and I don't want to be the one to run it until I remember the rules. So there's my flaw.
Yeah, it sounds almost honestly like the tabletop version of KOTOR, because I mean, you think about it, Knights of the Old Republic is tabletop.
They had Knights of the Old Republic as one of the source books. One of the books was from that. Because they had source books from all of the eras and all of the novels and the books, and they even remade some of the West End games.
Oh, that's awesome.
Books,
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's really in depth. They have a Clone Wars book. They have a it's like kind of like after the fall of the Empire stuff. This was obviously before the new movies came out, but
yeah, I'm curious if Disney's gonna continue to let them
no, they pulled it from West End Games when Disney
I'm not
actually
surprised.
before Disney had it, I think Lucas pulled it from Wizards of the Coast and gave it to someone else. Somebody's working on a new one though. I don't remember who, but somebody's working on it. I heard it from one of the people that I know.
Yeah.
Said they were.
Well, I know they did a lot of cleaning house of third party, because like I know, what is it, EA, they got axed from the video game side.
I don't want to say this, but rightfully so.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, they had a fair shake at Battlefront 2, and they just flopped. I mean, like, there's, to be honest, me and a couple of my buddies from back home, we still play the the co-op mode, the online co-op, where you just go up against waves and waves and waves against of enemies, and you're basically trying to either defend against a checkpoint or clear checkpoints. And that's fun because you're not dealing with, online bullshit. But it's like everything else is just dead. And you go into like the hero mode, and it's just like, 3 guys that have, that are playing together, that have played since day one, and this is the only thing they ever want to do is be Palpatine, Kylo, and Vader, and no one can move. And it's like, yay, this is a fun game. And it's just like, with the fact that like EA was in their money grubbing phase, where they were literally just stealing money left and right from people on DLCs and all that stuff. Like, it's not a surprise they got flopped. But I'm curious what Disney is going to eventually end up doing in the long run with both tabletop as well as virtual
video game. Yeah. Did you ever play the Masters of Terras Kasai? It was on PlayStation 1. Star Wars.
No.
It was like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but Star Wars. It was really freaking cool. It was you'd unlock characters. It was one of those under the radar games, but when you got into
Mhm.
it, God, it was so good. So much fun stuff.
I'll have to see if I can find an emulator for it because
Yeah.
those old Star Wars games, I know, so I was an Xbox kid. I had my friends had the PlayStation, so we were like, oh, I'll get the Xbox. And then, one of my other friends got the GameCube. And so we each all had our own little console. But yeah, I remember playing some of those old Star Wars games and they were just phenomenal. So I love Mortal Kombat Street Fighter. So that might be what I'll
Yeah.
have to check
It
out
was
for sure.
God, it was so the thing is there wasn't really a lot of internet back then. So
Yeah.
you did when it's like they had probably 12 unlockable characters, and it
Mhm.
was one of those like Mortal Kombat. You kind of had they would show you, oh, this is blocked up because you could unlock this guy, and then you try and find out. With the Star Wars Masters of Terras Kasai, you didn't know who was an unlockable character or what you needed to do. So we were all
Mm.
playing it, and we'd be like, wait, like the first one, we're like, wait, we just unlocked a Gamorrean? What? What are their powers? I don't know. What are their abilities? I don't know. And we'd play and we'd unlock and we'd learn like, oh, he can hype himself up. And so like the more he hypes himself up, the more damage his attacks do. And it's like,
Yeah.
you gotta be kidding. And then later we're like, shit, we just unlocked Darth Vader? You gotta be kidding me. And this is like days later. So we'd play, and then of course, nobody could only like one person could play Darth Vader. And then we're like,
Oh yeah.
great. So then we get done and it's like, we're playing, and like 2 months later somebody's like, let's play, and like, why? And then we play and they unlock the freaking Emperor, and you're like, they had the Emperor in there.
Oh yeah.
And so we're like, okay,
Ah.
they're all characters from the movie, right? And so we're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, I wonder who else is on there. They had Mara Jade and like,
Oh
that's not even in
wow.
the movie. What the and it
Yeah.
was just so cool unlocking these characters and having no idea. It was a really cool time for me as far as Star Wars goes to just, and we were role playing Star Wars at that time too. So we're role playing
Yeah.
Star Wars and then we'd play the game and we were all hooked on it.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is like you don't know who you're unlocking. So when you unlock somebody and it's like it's relevant to what you're doing, it is really cool. And unfortunately, you just don't get that anymore with data mining, right? You have people who are sitting there like, I need to know every game file. And
Yeah.
man, I wish we could have an experience like that again. But dang, man, that's cool. That's cool. I'll have to check it out. You said what was the name of it again? I'm sorry.
Star Wars Masters of Terras Kasai, which is a
Masters
fighting
of
style in Star
Texas.
Wars. So it's like a
Okay.
um,
Well, let me.
in the RPG they actually had the system, the Terras Kasai martial arts style, and you could like
Okay.
you could take away dice to add dice to damage, so it's be like one punch kill sort of situation. But
Oh, you got One Punch Man. I love it.
yeah, the Masters of Terras Kasai was like a fighter. It was like a Street Fighter type game.
Oh, I'm looking at it now.
It was such a great game.
This is the right level of corny.
And it
I
was
love
right in the
this.
era of like, it was like right in the era of the Monster Hunter game, where you'd insert a CD and it would scan it for a monster for you to raise. It was like
Oh my
before
God.
Pokemon.
Yep.
It
Yep.
was like Digimon
Oh,
Pokemon, but it was for a PlayStation. But you'd like insert CDs or DVDs in order to, and they all had hidden monsters, and you'd unlock them. And each CD or DVD, the numbers or whatever would correspond to whatever monster you would unlock. And it was that era of video gaming. It was pretty cool.
do you remember DVD games? Like games that were at
Yeah,
the back of like a movie?
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I remember the what was it? One of the Harry Potter movies was the first one that really introduced me to it. And it was like you do potions class with your remote. But God help you if you had like a universal remote because that shit never worked. I was so sad because my dad was always like really tech savvy when it came to that shit. He wanted like the cool, this is and that's. And so the universal remote
Yep.
never
You have to
fucking
enter in the code, and then you're like, oh, well, what does this button do? I don't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Not for this. It doesn't
exactly.
work for this.
So
It's
you're
nuts.
trying to like find a remote that's been thrown away like 3 years, earlier. That was bad. That
And
was
hope
also
that
in
the
tech.
batteries didn't get left in there and get corroded.
Oh my God. The amount of times I've found just like white powder of like the freaking battery acid corroding the like metal away. And it's just like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have breathed that in, but yep,
All right.
probably shouldn't have drank the oh
Favorite
sorry.
favorite Star Wars character, and then favorite Star Wars like actor as their
Ooh.
character.
Okay.
Because like everybody loves Kylo Ren, but I mean I don't like Kylo. I don't like Kylo. I don't like the actor they picked for Kylo Ren.
I mean, I like the actor, just not him as Kylo.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
yeah. I will definitely say favorite Star Wars character is Thrawn, through and through. I just respect Grand Admiral Thrawn and just like his calculations and his like, well, this is the job and doing his job
Did you
very
see the
well.
trailer for Ahsoka?
I have not. I know I've seen that part, but I haven't seen the full trailer.
I've just seen the name mentioned and I've lost my because everybody keeps saying that that's not going to be a thing. Like, oh, that's old school, that's books, it's whatever, it doesn't count. And it's like, yeah, well, Ahsoka was from an animated series that wasn't supposed to count either. But guess what?
Disney counted both animated series.
Yeah,
Actually, all three.
yeah.
They even counted the stupid new one that they did with the what is it post Kylo or like during the Kylo era.
And I think a lot of it is
Um,
also that like yes, Disney does drop the ball on a lot of things, but they know they try to make the canon make sense. So like when you look at the Marvel stuff, like yeah, it doesn't exactly fit the comics, but it's highly inspired by it, and they
yeah,
know their canon. They're like, sometimes the stuff doesn't fit in, but like the Hawkeye series was based. If you read the comic series that it's based off of, you're like, oh
mhm.
my god, this is a picture, this is a page right out of that comic.
Okay. Yeah, see,
So
I never read them. I've watched the movies and I love the Marvel universe. It's amazing. I really want to know the total cost of destruction in the movies. But it's that's just it, is it's you have to make the story make sense. And when Star Wars was having hundreds of books published that were just by any Joe Schmo. And in the beginning, when Lucas didn't really give a damn, he was just like, "Yes, more Star Wars out there, please."
yeah,
Um, it convolutes the brand
yeah,
and the story and the topic, and not everything makes sense. And I also kind of understand where Disney made a huge investment buying the Star Wars universe and kind of wanting to brand it, and be like, well, look, like whether it be right or wrong, this is now our project. And, we want the future to look like this, and we want the past and the canon to look like this. And the fact that they're possibly bringing back Thrawn, and then for me, bringing back Ezra, because Ezra is definitely my second favorite character. I
yeah. I
love
don't even
Ezra
know that
Bridger.
character.
Oh my god, you need to watch the animated series, the second animated
Oh,
series,
that's probably
Rebels.
why. Yeah,
Oh,
I watched the Clone Wars animated series, and then after that, I was like, meh.
Clone Wars animated series is trash. Hot take of the night. Rebels is where it's at.
Quote
Rebels through
Dilly
and
the
through.
Doe, not Epic Realms. There you go.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll take the heat on that one. But no, seriously, Rebels takes the cake. Because they learned by that time their audience was adult. It was, even at that time, people my age, in their 30s and, late 20s, all that sort of stuff, who were really enjoying more Star Wars
Yeah,
universe.
and there's money in
And
nostalgia. There
yeah,
is.
oh, for sure. I mean, that's why we haven't had original content from Hollywood in the last like 10 years. But, again, hot take number two coming back to back. But it's like ultimately, yeah, it was a really good series. And you get some just absolutely iconic characters. You really hit home with Ahsoka, you hit home with the Ezra Thrawn back and forth. And then if you read the Thrawn trilogy, the one that is canon, it really opens your eyes to a lot of the stuff that happens in the show. So I would recommend, doesn't matter what order you read them in or read or watch, but
Or
definitely
listen to an
if you
audiobook.
or listen, well, no, but I'm saying for the whether you read or listen to or you watch the show first, that doesn't necessarily matter. But at least do both, so you do get both ideas and both aspects, because it's worth it. Thrawn's got a brilliant mind, and the creator of that character was just
Yeah,
amazing.
Timothy Zahn, I believe, is the one who created him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, just holy crap.
Maybe I should get him on the
Oh,
podcast.
yes. Oh my God.
He's actually
That would
busy.
be-
I've written to him. He's pretty busy.
I can imagine. I really can. His books are amazing. I can't recommend them enough to anybody. And to be honest, if you guys have an Audible account, your monthly credit will get you one of the Thrawn books. And
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Super cool.
And as I'm not paid by it. I'm just a nerd for those books. I've
Right.
listened to them 2 or 3 times each.
And people that are like, you know, we asked you yours. I don't know if I have a favorite character. So there we go.
Sound scares me every time.
I mean, is there some that doesn't scare you when you don't see it
No.
coming?
No, that's fair. Yeah, no, it's not too hard to make me jump with a sound alert.
Is that an army thing or is that just a you thing?
Probably a little bit of both,
Okay.
but probably mainly a me thing. I'm just a big old wuss.
Okay. I wasn't sure if that was like there was like a PTSD or anything like that with you. And I was like, well, I figure we'll ask since we're sitting here. And
Loud booms, fireworks on 4th of July that I'm not expecting will mess with me. Ironically enough, gunshots don't mess with me at all.
yeah.
Like I'll go to a gun range and maybe it's because I'm at a gun range and I'm expecting gunfire, but like, shoot, let's be honest, I live in Texas. There's people shooting guns around, and you know, you hear gunfire out in the distance, and I'm like, someone's shooting a gun. But hearing, you know, well, I guess the sound alert, the FBI open up, you know, little gag doesn't really bug me anymore. But a duck quacking makes me jump a mile.
Right.
So. Oh my God, I'm sorry. One of my cats is sitting in front of my light.
I'm like, I was watching, I'm like, that is super cool. It's like we're getting a little show in the background, a little
Yeah, we got here. Give me another guy. This is the best, one of the best parts is now I have 2 very cute cats.
You have
One
extra
who's sitting on my-
foosballs.
I do. I have miniature dogs. That's what I like to call them.
Do they play fetch?
They do what they want.
So let's try to understand. I don't think I've read the Thrawn books. I read early books about Mara Jade, and then read most of the new Jedi Order books that some thought were terrible, but I liked them. I didn't read them, so I don't know.
Is the new Jedi Order books, is that the one where it's like the Middle Republic or something like that? It's like not quite the New Republic, but like, or not quite. It's like we're basically right before hyperlanes and all that sort of stuff are made. That's where I left off in my Star Wars. You know what? Hold on. Let me just get the damn book. I've got it on Audible here.
And look it up.
But
look it up.
I know. I mean, shoot. Never pass up an opportunity to give a book suggestion.
Right. I have an issue because I have so many that I got to go through with the podcast and everything. It's like every time I have a guest and I'm like, well, I don't know their works. Well, I better go get one of their books and download it and whatever. So.
And then you're 40 books later.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But Star Wars Light of the Jedi is the one that I left off on by Charles Soule. It's pretty good. I mean, it's definitely no Thrawn trilogy. Especially book 2. I think it's book 2 of the Thrawn trilogy, I think was my favorite. But that's kind of gets into the psyche of like the end of the Republic and the beginning of the Empire.
Okay.
And I'll just leave it at that. So there's no spoilers, but it's the psyche side of it. It's a lot more the thought process, not what happened. And it's just brilliant. Anyways, I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to spoil it for people.
I just posted a link to all of my socials. If you guys go into my YouTube channel, I did an interview or a podcast. You can listen to my interview with Delilah S. Dawson. Delilah S. Dawson wrote the Phasma book, which is based off of Phasma from the new movies. She played what's her face in Game of Thrones. Super big, not the mountain.
Oh,
what the hell was her name?
It's gonna bug me.
She was always having a feud with the Hound. Come on, chat, help me out here. Somebody's got to have it. Stream delay is gonna make it an issue.
It's gonna be fun. Let's see. I'm racing. See who wins. Gwendolyn Crystal or Christie. Brienne of Tarth.
Brienne of Tarth. Yes.
Yeah.
So Brianna Tarth from Game of Thrones played. Hello, Sniffier Ranger. Welcome on in. She played Brienne of Tarth, but she also played Phasma in Star Wars, so she had like the special armor and whatnot. And she wrote the book. It's basically the backstory of Phasma, and it's a
Okay.
really cool book and really cool story. And there is a character in there that apparently just showed up in the Mandalorian series on TV. So I am super excited. I haven't seen season 3 yet. So we've seen
Same,
season 1 and
same.
season 2. So I don't, but I know that that character shows up, and that's super cool for me. Because I've had Delilah on the series, and I know how stoked she is, how much she loves Star Wars. Like, she was a huge Star Wars nerd, huge Star Wars fan beforehand, and then she got that job writing the Phasma book. She's the only person that wasn't, as far as I know, that wasn't part of the movie. She got to read the script for the Star Wars movies before they came out. She had to like NDAs and stuff because she was writing the book. And then that's when all the comic book companies were like, well, we want Star Wars comics, but we can't get anyone to get clearance. It's like, well, Delilah S. Dawson has clearance, and she's done a couple comic books. Can she do some Star Wars comics? And she's like, yes, I have a clip on where she's like, yes, I can. And she was super stoked about it to be able to do those. So I think it was really cool for me, knowing Delilah, that must have been really cool to have this character that she put in her book that ended up making it in a series like The Mandalorian. So
so you have a lot of people like me who didn't read the books, and if it wasn't for some of my friends being like, no, read Thrawn like 1.5 million times before I finally was like I said, I had a long drive to Texas from Florida, and I listened to it, but it's exactly
read it, get it. If you haven't gotten it, if you're a Star Wars fan, get the Phasma, especially if you like a lot of the newer stuff that's come out in the last 5-10 years from Disney. Get the Phasma book. It's great. It's a great story. Actually, get all of Delilah's stuff, really. It's all really good.
Well, and then to see one of your creations make it, and it's like, because so many people don't consume the literature, they only consume what's going to be put in front of them on TV, or in a video game. And it's like, to see something like that created and that implemented is just, that's a lot of people should be proud. I mean, to be able to have that happen, and holy crap, she's one of them there. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Brendel Hux is the name of the character that shows up. So if you watch the series, and if you don't read the book and you see the series and you're like, her very quote is, if you're watching the show and you're like, who's this Brendel Hux guy, read the book. Because it's pretty cool. So yeah. Right. Thank you, Sniffy Ranger. You gave me my YouTube channel a sub. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for doing that. Go and if you get a chance, check out DillyTheDoe on YouTube as well, and check his Twitter out too. That's this cool looking dude to the left of me that is blurring out my finger. My blur screen doesn't want me to point at you. It's like, no, that is a rude gesture, my friend. Stop sticking that finger out.
Oh, you gotta love it. Yeah. I mean, we got some Star Wars stuff on there. Mainly it's Star Wars drinks. So if you like drinks and you like Star Wars, there's some good alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages out there. So
nice.
Enjoy.
That's I had the idea of like, I want to do drinks, and then I just never got around to it. And I was like, I want to do drinks, and I was like, Dilly, I want to do drinks, and you're like, I want to do drinks too. I'm like, well, do drinks then. It's like, okay. Because you had messaged me. It's like, I know you. For those that don't know, Dilly is really awesome. Like, we all, as streamers, we all get ideas from each other, and we all have thoughts. And Dilly is one of the few people that every single time I come up with an idea or something I want to do or something I'm doing, he messages me and goes, hey, I kind of want to do this thing, but you kind of had this idea. Are you okay if I do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, go for it. Go ahead. So you've done it. You've done it 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, yeah, for sure. And there have been times where you've done stuff, and I'm like, I want to do that. Are you okay if I do that? And you're like, yeah, sure, go for it. You messaged me like Stream Raiders. You're like, I don't want to step on your shoes. I'm like, you're not stepping on my shoes. There's a million other people doing Stream Raiders. Like, yeah, I know, but in this community and the people that I know, you're like really the only one really doing it. It's like, no, do it. And the same with the drink thing. Like, you're like, I know you want to do the drink things, but I want to do the Star Wars thing with the drinks, and I want to do some cooking stuff too. And I was like, do it, man, do it. Whatever you do is going to be different than what I'm going to do.
Well, and that's just it. Is like, you kind of have to realize, like, in this business, and ultimately it is a business, as cringy as of a word that as that is, but it's like, everything's been done. Everything has been done, but it's not been done by you. it's not been done with your flair, your spin, your whatever. And so in my opinion, when you're watching a TikTok or Instagram reel or something, and it's just like somebody recording their face and it's like paired next to a video and they're calling it a reaction video, but they're just going, that's not a reaction video. That's a head bob. And it's like, if you put in a little bit more effort and you pause and you talk about whatever, or, for stream raiders, for me, it's like, let's be honest, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do to make stream raiders unique from person to person, but it's like you put your own different spin and your own vibe on it. It becomes your own, and it becomes new and genuine content. And I feel like that's probably the best way to sit there. And it's like, if the way I feel, if you feel like it's come from somebody else, you should give them some credit and ask their permission. And
which
it's
I appreciate totally.
Yeah. And it's also one of those ones where you don't have to, like, I don't ever expect it. Shoot, I remember week 1 of streaming, I did the hello there as Obi-Wan, or Obi-Wan's hello there as my following emote or sound. And then it's like I saw it everywhere, and it's like I was like, well, at first I was like, everybody's copying me. And then I was like, no, that's just a popular sound.
Right.
Why am I being so damn high and mighty? I need to get off my horse. And then
that's
just
why
like,
I changed mine. Mine's the hello from Labyrinth. Nobody's got that shit. I had to upload the sound myself.
I mean, I have considered changing my follow to the what is it, the Golden Girls "Thank You for Being a Bitch" sound alert. But I was like, that might be a bit aggressive for a follow. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, but it's one of those ones where it's like, look, ultimately, find your own spin, find your own make, try a lot of things, right? Yeah. And yeah, go nuts.
And there might be happenstance too. Like if you see 2 or 3 people that like do something or have something similar to you, chances are they just saw the same thing you did and copied it. Unless for a fact, like the little feud Identity Crisis VR and Octavius have, where they've been literally stealing each other's crap and pointing it out, and like using each other's names as little pokes and stabs to make fun of each other. That's a different story, but that's obviously all in good fun. So
well, exactly, right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's about where you take it, right? And ultimately, if you're among friends, bounce ideas off each other. There's a reason you guys are creating in the same communities. It's because you have similar mindsets, similar interests. Oh, dang. Oh my god. There we go.
And here's the thing: they're both mods now, so they can't delete each other's posts.
There's absolutely no way now. I love it.
Yeah, that's great. Oh
stuff,
my gosh, that's hilarious. Was there anything we talked about that you're like, let's talk more about that? We didn't get enough time on a topic.
And there's always room for more Star Wars. There's always
I think we already went over a little bit on Star Wars, but there's a ton of room. We didn't talk about Mandalorian. We didn't talk about Book of Boba. We have to watch Book of Boba Fett. That's the reason we haven't gotten to the Mando yet. But we have a show. We have a show on. And I'm just going to start the timer. We have we have Discovery Plus, and there's a show on Discovery Plus we really like watching called Homestead Rescue. It has nothing to do with anything. But there's this family of 3. It's a father, a daughter, and a son. And they go to homesteads, people that are trying to live off the grid. And they help them be better at living off the grid. And there's just something wholesome about the show. But also you get this cool, like, off the grid vibe going, and like the do-it-yourself, live off the land sort of feel in a modern age.
Yeah.
That's just super cool and fun. And the son is usually like, he tackles like taking care of predator issues or hunting, teaching people how to hunt and fish. The dad is usually like wielding chainsaw cutting. He's like the mastermind of a lot of the builds. And the daughter's like, we're going to do builds like farming builds, or like grow your own crops or grow your own foods or gardening sort of builds. And they do a lot of crossover and helping each other out. And then they had a spin-off show where you literally get to see their homestead grow, because they just moved to a new location in Alaska, because they're all from Alaska. They're all homesteaders in Alaska. And the father's got like 20 years of like being a lumberjack and like living off the grid and like using chainsaws. And he's got like, they call him Total Cowboy, and you would never want a safety advisor on when he has an idea. He's like, oh, He's the kind of person that's like, well, we'll use 2 forklifts to lift up a ladder up onto the scaffolding to build this thing. He's, that
Oh
kind of a
yeah.
thing.
How
So
would he get
it's,
the job done?
yeah, and it's really entertaining, but it's also really wholesome because there's like definite like I'm gonna cry moments for some of these people. And so we just love it. But with the HBO Max and Discovery Plus merger, we want to get through that show
Oh yeah.
before the merger just to see what changes happen so we don't lose it or if we have to like cancel our subscription to Discovery Plus. So we're gonna do that before we finish the rest of our
I didn't know
Marvel
there was a
stuff and the
merger
rest of our
coming.
Star Wars series and movies and stuff. So
Yeah. Um yeah, I didn't know there was a merger coming. That's cool.
yeah, because Discovery, Discovery and Warner Brothers merged, so they're
mm,
now I don't
mm.
know Time Warner Discovery, I guess.
But
But
so many of these
I think
companies have
Discovery
joined
bought
together.
Warner Brothers, which owns HBO.
Okay,
So it's Warner
which makes
Brothers
sense. But
HBO. Now it's Discovery is merged in there. So HBO Max and Discovery Plus are going to be like one.
and Discovery's owned by Fox, which is owned by Disney.
Are you serious or joking?
No, I'm serious.
Discovery is owned by
So,
Fox?
which is owned by Disney. So when you buy Disney Plus, you get Hulu, Discovery, and Disney.
You don't get Disney with this with Discovery Plus.
No. If you buy Disney, you can get the bundle that comes with Discovery, I think, or they used to. I don't know if they still
Oh,
do. Hold on.
I
Let
didn't
me
know
fact
that.
check myself.
I didn't know that.
Nah, yeah, I'm gonna fact check myself before I
Yeah,
make a
fact
damn.
check yourself.
So.
Isn't it ABC? It's ABC and Disney. Sunstrider says it's ABC and Disney, not Fox or Discovery.
No, Disney owns Fox. I
Okay.
know that one.
But you don't know Fox owns Discovery? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure Discovery is its own thing.
Warner, no, yeah, it's its own. Yeah, Warner Bros. Discovery, because that's right. It's Discovery is Discovery TLC and probably a couple of others in there, but yeah, get the wiki up. Here we
But
go.
yeah, at any rate, yeah, like Discovery and HBO, Warner, Time Warner, because whatever, they're being one and they're gonna merge, which is cool because I like my Warner Brothers, even though they
Yeah.
can't seem to get a fucking superhero movie right. I'd like to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I'm a
let's
DC
be
person. I've always
honest.
been a DC person over Marvel, but dear God, these freaking movies are like, let's make Superman dark and ominous like Batman. No, that's not what Superman is.
No, and they're trying to continue the Marvel being bright and colorful and DC being dark and dreadful, and it's like, who wants to go and spend $17 minimum for a ticket, not to mention popcorn, drinks, and anything else, to go and be sad for an hour and a half? Like, I don't
And don't get
know.
me wrong, with Batman, I get the dark and gritty Batman because it's
Yeah,
Batman.
it's
But
Batman.
Superman is bright and colorful and like hope and good feels
Right.
and I get it. A lot of people don't like Superman because they can't relate to him, but to me, Superman is. I will never not see Christopher Reeves as Superman. Brandon Routh
Yeah.
did an amazing job. Don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill was a great Superman. He just had a crappy script.
Yeah. To be honest, I didn't even watch Cavils. Had no interest. I was, it's like I lost interest in a lot of the DC movies.
Same. Yeah, it was so hard for me to be like, because they just kept failing at things and failing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people. Here's the hot take. I'm going to get flamed on this one. The Christian Bale Batman series. When it first was coming out, I was like, this is going to be great. I love Christian Bale in Equilibrium. When they announced Heath Ledger as the Joker, everybody was like, he's going to be a horrible Joker. I'm like, no, he's going to be the best Joker you've ever seen. And nobody fucking believed me. And then the movies came out, and initially, like, Batman Begins was great.
Yeah.
The second movie, The Dark Knight, it was good because of Heath Ledger, but it was a shitty Batman movie. It was a horrible Batman movie because Batman is like, yes, he's badass and he can kick ass, but he's the world's greatest detective, and he was made to look like a fucking moron. Like, Lucius Fox was a better Batman in that movie.
Yeah.
So hot take,
definitely...
looking back now, other than the Heath Ledger, that was probably, to me, that was the worst Batman series in all of the Batman movies, and I will never live that down. People are gonna hate me for that.
I mean, like, if you like the tech and you like all the bells and whistles, then I can see the disagreeing, aspect of it. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything. None of those movies that was like, oh, I need to watch this more than once. And if a movie doesn't sit there and draw you in to be like, you need to watch this a second or a third time, is it really a good movie?
Yeah,
Oh boy,
Michael
I've got
Keaton is
cats in the
Batman. Who the
background.
hell are all these other people you're talking about?
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, I had high hopes. The Ben Affleck Batman, I think, was really good, but he needs his own movie. He really reminded me of the Dark Knight style Batman. Like, I really got a
Mm.
good feel off of Ben Affleck's like older Batman, minus the whole using guns sort of situation. But he
You
uses it in the
know,
comics a lot too. So
yeah, and that's just it. Is if it's in the comics and the fact that it is ultimately a fantasy character, I kind of go, why not? Explore different avenues, see what ends up hitting. Don't just do what they're doing now, which is follow one avenue and one road and
yeah,
ultimately make the same repeated movie of the origin story of Batman, right? I know how Bruce's parents died.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I did like the new movies with sparkly vampire kid. Um, I forget his name. He was also in Harry Potter.
Oh, the Twilight, Edward.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't know.
didn't mind that the Batman. The story, like, it's the first time that Batman was like, I am the world's greatest detective. Like, you get that from this movie. It was more of a
Yeah.
brain movie than anything else. So
Was
I
that
loved it.
was that the most recent one?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because again, I'm not a huge
Identity
DC.
Crisis hater. Take it that back. The new Batman sucked. Sorry,
Ooh,
Identity. You're allowed to be wrong.
you're allowed to be wrong. I love it. Yeah, you are. Everyone's always
I
allowed to
would
be
agree
wrong.
with you, but then we both would be wrong.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Yeah. So how do you what do you think of Henry Cavill stepping down from The Witcher? I know that's a little bit of old news now, but
yeah, so I haven't seen it, and I never played the Witcher games,
no.
so
Okay.
it wasn't a huge thing for me. But like, he looked great in what I from like everything I saw in the clips. I'm like, that is super cool. It's not a fandom. I'm like, I don't know I don't know the history of it. I don't know the stuff, but he looked really good, and I can tell from everybody's reaction that he was like the perfect fit for it.
Yeah. I think my problem is it'd be kind of like if in Mando they took Pedro Pascal and just replaced him with someone that kind of looks like Pedro. And we're like, yep, this is Carol, and or this is Mando, like, and it's like, nope, that's a different person, and it's like, I don't know if that's what they're truly doing, if they're just gonna substitute him in or just go off on a tangent series with something else or whatever the case
For
might
Mando or
be,
for
but
Witcher.
for Witcher,
Oh,
and I'm like, but how do you switch the main character 3 seasons in?
yeah.
Like that's just
It
I don't
can
know.
be done. I mean, look at Bond.
Well, all right, yeah, you really got me there. But like, you don't need to watch the last Bond to know what this Bond is about.
Right.
You don't need to watch, what
That's
was
true.
it,
And
Doctor
it's not
No,
that's a movie, not a TV series.
well, exactly. Well, but I mean, even then, it's like if Bond was a different person every single movie, I mean, and you had 67 different James Bonds, like that'd be pretty confusing too. So I don't know. I think when what's his name? Sean Connery set the precedence after stepping down, and then Roger Moore really establishing it. It made sense, do what you can do, make your own Bond, and then
Was Connery first or
um,
was Moore first? I thought Moore was first.
Connor
Oh,
is first. Connor is Doctor No. He did, I think, three, and then the fame got to him. I remember watching a couple of interviews, and he hated the invention, and thought that James Bond was a dumb character, and walked away. And then I think that's when what was it? I want to say it was one of the in-betweeners. I don't think it was Roger. Was it? It might have been just the switch to Roger Moore, but
yeah.
then Sean Connery came back in like a spoof Bond film, which then they later redid when he
Okay.
was older.
Okay.
And so yeah,
There's
Sean
a tier
Connery
A
came back
Pokemon, guys,
twice.
by the way.
Oh,
Tier A Pokemon for
oh,
those in chat.
what have we got? Oh, does it not tell you what the Pokemon is?
I've got
Sweet.
the thing. It says it's a Volcarona. The tier A thing is a different. I've got a different Pokemon bot. It tells me it's a tier A fire bug type Pokemon. A netball will give you 70% chance to catch it.
How do I throw a netball?
Yeah, if you have a netball, you just type in Pokecatch netball. But if you don't have a netball,
I wanna join in on this. I never played the Pokemon games, and for someone who does so many damn pack openings,
right? Do you have it on your stream? Do you have the Pokemon game on your stream?
hell no.
What?
Yeah, I'm bad with that.
Get you hooked up if you want.
You
You probably don't want. It's like one more thing to run on the stream.
It really is. And like the big problem for me is it's like work keeps getting later, and unfortunately work is what keeps all of this around me going.
Right.
And so I can't justify telling my day job, hey guys, chill for a minute. I gotta go and do a stream now, and then I'll come back and go back to work. And it's like, because some nights I do it, I have to work till 9 or 10 or later.
I think for me, part of it is I like to have little games that people can play in the chat, because between the regular podcast where I'm not chatting with the stream, although I mute the Pokemon bot during the podcast, but like when we're role playing, there's not a lot of chat interaction during role play, so they're just sitting there watching. I like the Pokemon bot because it gives the chat something to do and something to look forward to doing. And that was kind of the same thing for role playing. That's the same kind of thing for Stream Raiders. Like they can play Stream Raiders and enjoy the role playing, in the background sort of situation.
I know myself with Stream Raiders, like I eventually tapered off, and I think a big part of that was actually TwitchCon, going there and meeting the folks, and seeing everything that they were doing and going like, wow, this is all amazing. But everything was amazing. And then they were releasing it like all at once. And so they almost flooded their own market, in my opinion. And so it made it really difficult to sit there and maintain interest or to sit there and have to deal with every single time you fire up that app, there's an update. And it's just like, it got really tedious for me. And so there's a couple of other stream games that I've contemplated, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I have the interest anymore in I guess in my chat, and versus having the willpower to set it up and to maintain it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I wrote them a letter.
Yeah,
they had a form where they were like, fill out this questionnaire or whatever, and to give us some feedback. And I wrote them a long letter saying that like my issue was like 2 or 3-fold, like, and I don't know how you fix it, but the market is so flooded that for the smaller streamers that want to grow and want to support Stream Raiders, no one's gonna find our skins. It doesn't matter how cool our skin is that we release.
Oh yeah.
Like every week you're releasing 30 new skins. What's my one cool Necromancer Ghostbuster skin compared to these other 30 that come out every single week? And then you can't find them unless you're looking for me specifically.
Yeah.
And when they were doing Stream Pirates, the first version of Stream Pirates, they stopped doing it because they're like, well, we want a game that helps promote the streamers and helps streamers grow. And I'm like, how does Stream Raiders these days, it doesn't seem to, I don't know how like it helps streamers grow. If you want to find a Stream Raiders captain, you can't throw a stick into a forest without hitting a Stream Raiders captain. Like,
oh yeah.
And nobody's gonna go on and be like, I need a Stream Raiders captain, and just randomly find you DillyTheDoe, and go hop in your stream. How many people have come into your stream in the last 6 months just because they were playing Stream Raiders? How many came in and be like, hey, I saw you in Stream Raiders and that's how I got here? It doesn't happen.
No. I mean, for me, it'd be almost a year, because I stopped with Stream Raiders almost 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
But it's like, it wasn't doing anything for me. If anything, it was promoting more bot attacks. Like I got bot attacked in Stream Raiders.
Yeah.
Like literally just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of placements. And I'm just like, well, I know this isn't me because I've got like 6 people in chat and I literally just started stream. So great. I hope I don't get banned. And it's like, it's just then sitting in fear of like, well, what's the repercussions? Because, Twitch, they'll punish the streamer. So is stream captains, are they going to be doing the same thing, or what's the case? So
Yeah.
and then like you're saying, they don't fix their problems. They don't sit there and show how they promote new growth. They don't show a return on realistically return on investment, because every single time you run a battle, I mean, how many seconds, minutes, whatever is Stream Raiders on your screen? And are they paying you at all for it being on your screen? No, not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
You're enjoying
Well,
your
that
game.
but that goes for every other game. When you're playing Knights of the
Yes,
Old
it
Republic, how
does.
much was Disney paying you? Let's be honest.
No, fair. But we're talking about something that's growth, right? So
Right.
you're not sitting here having to, buy battle passes or whatever for Knights of the Old Republic. I mean, yes, there are games that you have to, but it's like ultimately it's an investment of your game, and then your return on investment is not only your enjoyment of playing, but if you're streaming it, the enjoyment that your chat gets from watching you play it, and then the longevity of the evergreen videos and people who consume your VODs or your YouTube videos or your shorts. That's all return. And if you're playing a game like Stream Raiders, when everyone else is doing it and there's nothing unique about it.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing too, is that people come in like they know what the deal is. They know what's going on. And for a game like Stream Raiders, like I love Stream Raiders and I love it's a great game to play in the background. And I told them, I said, I was like, early on, the problem was nobody could get in unless you were already an established streamer. You couldn't get in to be a captain and run those things. So those old OG people that were captains, like they were able to do great because they were the OG captains. They've got 30 skins that they could do. But the new people, like everybody wanted to get in, so there were times where they lowered the bar so more people could get in. But when you lower the bar and more people get in, then you have too many, and now the bar is lowered, and now everybody can get in. So it's like this double-edged sword. And how do you fight that? And how do you So and then they got rid of PvP and the dungeons, and that cut out half of their. I'd say half. I don't know the actual numbers, but a lot of the streamers I follow, they don't even do Stream Raiders anymore because they did it for the PvP. They did it for
because who wants to do the boards?
Dungeons.
Yeah, the boards get boring because it's the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, there's like literally no interactions. Like, this is how I build it, whatever, I don't care. And then step away.
I mean, that's literally what I would do, is I would build, and eventually I got lazy and I would just do the freaking peace sign everywhere and just be like, put whatever the hell you want, wherever the hell you want it. And I just put it in the background, walk away, or not walk away, but go on with my stream. And then you hear the da-da when the thing's done and ready, and you hit, okay, sweet, battle's going. Sweet, once, random giveaway for the prizes, call it a day, start the next battle, repeat. But it didn't bring engagement. I mean, maybe in the beginning when I was super hyped about it and it wasn't that
same here.
stupidly
And I still run it because it's still something for the stream to do while we're role playing, or like in the background, doing stuff. So I still try to get it in there. And I had a couple people message me, when are you going to do Stream Raiders again? So some of the people in my community do still play and do want to play. So I still try to do it at least once a week so people can get in there. But yeah, they've got this new game. It's a race car game called Nitro.
Yeah, I was watching you play that.
And that's pretty fun. And I've got, they gave me access to put my own skin in the game. So hopefully I can get that up. I got two flags in the game. So not what I expected us to talk about for the potluck. But that's the point of the potluck. Whatever happens,
still juicy. You gotta love it.
Well,
so.
we were talking about Pokemon, and then we were talking about the community game, and then we were talking about stream, like kind of side, smaller community games. Have you played Words on stream yet, by the way?
I haven't, but that's because I'm terrible at spelling, so it just wouldn't do. No, I've looked at it. Again, it's really the will factor right now for me. I mean, the reason I say here I can consistently stream is because ultimately I've got my stuff set up to be press live and go do my thing. And so it's like, it's not very difficult on the back end. When it comes to adding new stuff, getting rid of old stuff, doing YouTube, doing all the other socials, that's when I sit there and I'm like, life, it's in the way, when ultimately I've got time. It's just it's tough. I would look into it just because, especially for BRBs, I've seen a lot of folks do it for that to keep people interactive and just something to do while you're out taking a poop. So sometimes
eloquent.
you
So eloquent.
shit happens.
Pun intended.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that was my Forrest Gump quote of the night. So.
Oh God.
Oh man.
So since I got you here, what are
Mhm.
what's your are you just at DillyTheDoe on YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube it is at DillyTheDoe, Twitch at DillyTheDoe, and then Twitter and Instagram it's at DillyTheDoe1.
The number or the
Some
word one?
the number,
The
yeah,
number.
the number one. You can find all of my socials on my Twitch page. And then yeah, keep an eye out. A couple of cool things in the works. With buying a new 3D printer, I may or may not have a few different projects in the works. And might be opening a little side business store. So
Cool.
yeah, just keep an eye out. There'll be good things to come. So
Nice. What's your schedule this week?
we are going to be streaming makeup stream tomorrow because I normally stream Monday nights at the same time. And
Yeah,
then
we're usually on at the same time Mondays for sure, and some other
it's
days
always a
too.
bummer. It's a bummer. So I stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. So Monday through or the weekdays are 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until we get done. And then the weekends I try to stream no later than like 2 p.m. Starting time, just so we can say thank you to all of our friends in Europe who spend so many nights awake very, very late. We like to give them some time during a normal evening. I feel terrible, but yeah, we do Saturday afternoon streams as well. So
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. And you do get, we were going to talk about like promotional work for the streams, but you do giveaways on your stream quite often, right? Is it like once a month?
I used to do it once a month. It has like I stopped with the moving, but with opening the business again, we are going to start getting back into giveaways. The big being I got to ship our last giveaways. So I'm sorry, Dazzled Flames, Mystery, and Camber. It's coming, but the rest of it, yeah, we'll get back to it, and we'll have some cool 3D prints. It won't be anything quite to this scale, but we'll do some stuff, maybe similar, maybe a little smaller, and send it out.
Cool. And you
Mhm.
also open up Pokemon Go packs on, or not Pokemon Go, but Pokemon packs of cards on stream, and sound alerts are really fun to scare the hell out of him.
Yep.
If you like watching me jump out of my pants, check this guy out because he's way worse than I am.
And we're done with crafts for the week, so I'm taking a little bit of a break on crafting on stream, and back to games. So it'll be even better. Find the tense moments during some Daisy, or I don't know if there are tense moments in Stardew, but we'll find them.
Yeah, it's when somebody's like, "You didn't water my plants."
Exactly.
No.
Oh man, you lose that one green bean plant that you've been saving all summer, and you just needed one more gold.
I haven't played Stardew Valley, and I'm afraid to because like I said the same thing as like, oh, I would never play. What was the other one? Animal Crossing. I was like, I would never play Animal Crossing. That's not my type of game. And then I tried it. My wife got it and played it a little bit, and then I played with her, and then I made my own island, and then I'm like, no, we worked together on an island, and next thing you know, like I'm unlocking all the things. I'm like, I gotta play it because today's the only day that this fish is available to catch on this other person's island. It's like, dear God, so I'm afraid to play Stardew Valley because I know what would happen.
If you're that easily addicted to Animal Crossing, yeah, stay away from Stardew, because it was same story, different title. It was literally Anna getting me into Stardew, being like, you should just try it. And she's like, I'll start a farm, you can join. And I was like, okay, sweet. And then I'm like, fuck. It's just all of it. And it's like I sit here now and I'm like I really don't care about the actual game. I just like to go fishing. And
Right.
it's like I'd probably be better off buying like Bass Pro, but instead I just do my Stardew fishing, and
Do you
I'm
fish
so
in real
happy and
life?
content. Yeah, yeah, I used to. I used to do a
Oh,
lot of fishing, so I'm not any good at it. I'm great at drinking while I fish. I'm good at bow fishing, but other than that,
if you ever end up in Minnesota during the summer, you let me know. We'll go fishing.
I will let you know. I know I might be heading up to Michigan before too long to get some tattoo stuff finished. But if we make it over to Minnesota way, I'll be sure to hit
Definitely.
you.
I got a boat and everything. We'll go.
Oh,
You've never been
excited.
fishing freshwater till you've been fishing freshwater in Minnesota.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. I mean,
And we won't
Michigan, we
go
got
to
some
any of
good
those
stuff
lakes
there.
that people talk about, so it won't really matter. It'll be just like
Best.
but you
I
guys
don't know
have
to be
ponds and
scared.
stuff down there. Like I'm just gonna go fishing in my pond, and it's like a pond. It's like the size of like not even two people's. It's not even an
Oh God,
acre,
yeah.
and it's like bass this big. It's like, God damn it, Texas! Why do you guys gotta
Yeah.
have the cool fishing where you don't have to do any work?
Alligator gars and small rivers and backwood ponds. Yeah, that is nice. But I will say I do miss, being up on a, northern Michigan lake, freezing my ass off, thighs deep, trying to go for some smallmouth.
Yeah,
That is some good childhood memories there. So
nice.
I don't know. Have you ever tried bow fishing? One last little tangent here.
No, because I never. I don't. I think that it's really difficult to get a license for bow fishing here unless you're Native
How
American.
is it? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting because it's just a normal game license for us down here, and
I
it was that way.
think. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe I just didn't look far enough into it, but yeah, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure that if you weren't Native American, it's a little bit harder to do bow fishing in Minnesota. But again, I could be wrong. Don't quote me. It's been a while since I've looked at anything like that.
if you ever get a chance, give it a try. It's fun. And I mean, now granted, it's one of those ones. Don't shoot at anything you don't want to eat later that night because there's no catch and release.
Yeah.
But if you're going for sustenance, like I've gone camping and hunting while doing that. And
My father-in-law loves fishing
so
for
fun.
sport, and I'm always like,
Mhm.
shouldn't we be fishing for food to eat? Like I grew up like that was, we were you fish because you wanted to eat, you hunt because you
Yep.
wanted to eat. Like it's
Mhm.
that's food.
Yeah.
But he's like the sportsman. Like he's got a journal. We got him, and he keeps track of like this is how many fish I caught today. This is where I caught them. Like he's really amazing at fishing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, bring me some fish, and he's like, well, I gotta put them back in the lake. Like, no, what are you
No,
doing?
bring him back. Yeah.
He also doesn't like
Oh,
to eat fish. He doesn't like the taste of fish, so that's part of it too. So
well, then he's just being cruel and making anorexic fish then. Oh, man.
he's brought us some walleye. We've got a freezer of
That's
walleye that
good.
he has brought us. So.
Oh, that is one thing I miss about the north and the summer, late fall is walleye festival. Yeah,
Walleye.
some fried walleye.
Those of you who are
oh,
vegan or vegetarian, I'm sorry. If you're in here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nirvana said it best. Fish don't have any feelings.
And if you guys don't want to eat it, I'll eat it. Just to make up. So
There we
don't
go.
worry, the food's not gonna get wasted. Nobody's gonna waste any food here.
Wow, we're gonna get so flamed for all of
man.
the things we've said tonight. I don't like the Christian Bale Batman. You want to
what was
murder
it?
all the fish. I'm just kidding.
All the fish, all of them. Oh God. At least I don't go dynamite fishing.
Is that even a thing?
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Not legally, but no.
I know it's legal in Texas to fish with goldfish as bait.
Is it really?
Yeah.
That's a little effed. Oh my goodness. What do you do? Like, do you just like use them as like I don't want to know.
Yeah,
Never
just like a
mind.
minnow. They don't care
Okay.
about the invasive species. There's a couple streamers. There's Fuzz, used to be known as Fuzzy. He's a streamer here on Twitch, and he did a lot of like that was where he started. He was doing fishing streams, and he did that in Texas. And like he's like, yeah, I got a couple goldfish. I'm like, that's not illegal. Like up here, that would be
Right?
totally illegal for
Oh,
invasive
yeah.
species.
Yeah, that's a big no-no. But I mean, I guess that's why they've got a shit ton of snakehead and all sorts of other nasty creatures down here as well. So
Roddy Mama says in Minnesota, your regular license includes bow fishing, but you can only bow fish for rough fish like carp, buffalo, sucker, and bullheads.
mm,
And it's only during bow fishing season. So apparently it's super restricted.
there you go. Yeah. If you do get a chance, it is fun. Especially like if you're out on a camping trip. Because if you use some cheap, crappy arrows, you don't even have to take the fish off. You just, use the the arrow as a spit. So
Oh, nice. I've been thinking about getting a bow. It's been years since I've had one. So
they're nice. They're nice.
then I can take care of the squirrels without making the neighbors angry.
Just got to get a little BB gun that has a little extra force, and or a big dog who likes to chase after him.
Oh, we have a dog that likes to chase after him, but they're usually long gone. He's only caught 2 of them. So
That's fair. That's fair.
although, have you seen? Are you
man.
on TikTok?
Mm-mm.
There is a
I'm-
TikTok trend where they say that if you do this, at a squirrel, they'll slowly come up to you, and there's all these videos of people being like, no, this is BS, and then it shows them doing it, and the squirrel runs up to them, and they're like, oh my god, it worked, and they're like running from the squirrel. And I'm like, I gotta try this. Like, is this a trend? Is this real? This can't be real. And it's like, but all these people are saying the same thing and then trying it, and you're watching it work. So it's like either they all have trained squirrels, or maybe there's something to it.
Maybe there is, but at the same time, like, I don't know if you remember the trend where people were like taking their like object, slamming it against a wall, and then sliding it up, and then it was like suction cupped or static stuck to the wall. I can't tell you the amount of times I've tried that, seen 1.5 million other people try it, and it's like you saw all the TikToks, you saw 1.5 million people do it. It's fake. It's fake as fuck. I will not be convinced otherwise, and it's just like I'm like, it's the same. It could be the same sort of thing with squirrel. I don't know. You take two videos, you edit them together, you get a video of a squirrel running towards you, you know, play it over the top of, you know, you doing,
or they've trained the squirrel.
Yeah, I like the trained squirrel idea. That's the I really hope it's like a secret agent squirrel. That's
agent squirrel.
Exactly. I love it.
Taking away your nuts and giving you something. I don't know.
Oh man, they chopped down your tree and taking away your nuts. It's terrible.
Oh man.
Oh, good times.
It's kind of a wrong circle of talking about Bond earlier, though.
Yeah, we made it back to the top. Oh, that's funny.
Lyric says, okay, confirmed. 3 windows. I only got 2 channel points on 2. I'm getting Twitch drops on the 3rd, but no channel points. So question mark, question mark.
Well, do you have Twitch drops on the other pages?
Yeah, that'd be a good question. Do you get Twitch drops on all 3 of them?
Well, because that's the thing, right? Is if it's basically 2 views, i.e. the channel points being generated, and then 2 Twitch drops, and if one of those is not doing Twitch drops, you can get Twitch drops in the
Yeah, more testing there. More testing.
Yep.
Not unless you are doing Twitch drops tonight. I am not doing Twitch drops tonight. No. Although I might be tomorrow. It depends on. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. There's we were talking about Nitro Stream Racing. Excuse me, and I'm either doing Cyberpunk tomorrow unless I have my skin for Nitro Stream Racing. If I get my skin
cool.
cleared by tomorrow, then I'll do that, and that will have a Twitch drop. But otherwise, and if you guys are playing Nitro Stream Racer, there is a Twitch drop for a red skin on a pickup truck that people can get. So
that's awesome.
Should we find someone to raid?
Yeah.
Look, I found one. There's somebody called May7733. Is that a good one? Should I raid that one? Do you think?
I don't know. She's kind of sus.
Very sus. Very sus.
I don't
think she likes me.
Oh, that's not true. No, she was really excited when I told her that you invited me onto the show. She was like, "That's super cool," and she's a little jealous. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, she came home, got the word that she's able to set up a booth, and so she is busting her butt to make inventory right now. So
nice. Well, she's doing a stream, makers and crafting. What is she? What's the thing? She's knitting. No, she's crocheting. She's crocheting. She's crocheting her little dudes. Those are fun. So those of you who are makers and crafters, we're gonna go and we're gonna raid the significant other of one DillyTheDoe, aka roommate, aka May, aka Anna, because that's what you've been saying all night long. So hopefully she's okay with you dropping.
She is. No, she will introduce herself and probably in kind, but yeah.
So everybody who's been hanging out, thank you so much for hanging out. Go and check out DillyTheDoe. Go and watch his streams. Give him a follow. I know a handful of you in chat already said that you've given him a follow. So thank you so much for doing so. And we will see you all tomorrow for either Cyberpunk or something else. I mean, Cyberpunk's been failing on me left and right anyhow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Wednesday is tabletop role-playing, the Stolen Souls campaign. Monday, we have author of the Golden Age of the Solar Clipper series. And he's done the Shaman's Tales and the Tanith Farport Adventures. And he's also wrote one of my favorite books, The Wizard's Butler, which is just a super cool. I don't know if it's an urban fantasy, if it's a mystery. It's just this really cool, unique book If you get a chance, check out A Wizard's Butler. It's completely different from any other story or book that you've read. It's a really good story. So go and check him out. Nathan Lowell is the name of the author. He's going to be joining us on Monday for the podcast. So check it out, and we will see you guys tomorrow. And again, go check out DillyTheDoe, and we're going to go on raid May. So give May a follow and say hello. Use all those raid emotes and all the fun stuff that you've got. So we will see you guys later, and have a good one, and take care, everyone. See you later. Thanks, Dilly.
Thank you.